Then on the strand, with steeds and treasure and armor, their roomy and ring-dight ship was heavily laden. High its mast rose over Hrothgar's hoarded gems. A sword to the boat guard Beowulf gave, mounted with gold. On the mead bench, since he was better esteemed, that blade possessing heirloom old. Their ocean keel boarding, they drove through the deep, and Daneland left. A sea-cloth was set, a sail with ropes firm to the mast, the flood timbers moaned. Nor did wind over billows that wave-swimmer blow across from her course. The craft sped on, foam-necked it floated forth o'er the waves, keel firm-bound over briny currents, till they got them sight of the Geatish cliffs, home-known headlands. High the boat, stirred by winds, on the strand updrove. Helpful at haven the harbor guard stood, who long already for loved companions by the water had waited and watched afar. Dramatic fade out. What's going on, everyone? Welcome, Arvanauts. Welcome, everybody, to a Tuesday stream. It is November 12th, 2024. It is about 12:30 p.m. in the year of our Lord, etc., etc., and it is my great pleasure to welcome everybody to day 11 of Beowulf, Age of Heroes. This is Horror at Herrogate, and it is part 4 with TariToons as part of our duet system as Genevieve. I should say, by the way, we are going to that video is in process of being updated. So even though it says Runesild, it is not Runesild, it is Genevieve. We will get that video updated shortly, within hopefully the next week or so. It should be updated. But yes, initially we didn't want to update it because it was a surprise, and then once the surprise was revealed, now we want to actually update it to Genevieve. So we'll get there. But in the meantime, it is good to see everyone here. I'm excited for our session today, and I will just talk a little bit briefly about how you can support the channel if you haven't done so already. If you have not already done so, please follow the channel. Please check out our YouTube with !ArvTube, and if you are watching me over, I think it's no, is it I don't remember. Shoot, I need to find what the command is. I don't remember. I know that we have a command list, and I know that one that's there too. I don't think it's bless. I don't actually remember what the command is. Although actually, wait a minute. Let me just check something here. Yeah, no, what happened is Arcanus bot is disconnected, which sometimes happens. So I will let Shadowed Mage know. Just give me 1 second. Okay, hang on 1 second here. There we go. Looks like Arcanus bot is not on. Just wanted to let you know. Okay, I have just notified. I've sent out the Batman signal to Shadow Mage. I think it is actually ! Bless, and also ! All the other ones there are not going to work right now because Arcanus bot is not working. So I will simply tell you that when Arcanus bot is functional, then we will be able to use these commands again. When you do so, !arvtube will get you over there. That is my YouTube channel, YouTube/Arvin Eleron, ARVAN ELERON. And if you are watching on YouTube, welcome. And please consider subscribing to us at YouTube. We're at a new record of subscribers there. So we'd love to see that get picked up. And you can head over to the Twitch channel as well if you would like, where we'll have a lot of people hanging out in chat as well. Discord is !arvcord. You can hang out with the Arvanauts in between streams. Yeah, unfortunately, none of those commands are going to work right now because Arcanusbot is currently not in the stream. So until it gets in the stream, it's doesn't. None of the ! commands are going to work because right now Arcanusbot is not there. But I am working on it. It will be fixed in a moment, or I hope not necessarily in a moment, but when Shadow Mage sees it, we'll get it back up and functional. So where was I? Yes, so YouTube and Discord, hang out with the Arvanauts in between streams. Twitter is !arvtweets. Don't know how much longer I'm going to be over there, to be honest with you. I am shifting, as are many, many, many thousands and thousands and thousands of people, from Twitter over to Blue Sky, and I have had a huge, literally, I've had probably 100 followers over on Blue Sky in the last day. I think a lot of people have had the same situation where we got added to various groups and so on. And so we've had a bunch of other people that have followed us here, which is super cool. So if you want to be one of them, you can type in, well, normally you could type in !arvsky, but at the moment you can't because it's not going to work. So just follow me over on Blue Sky, which is, if you do a search for Blue Sky, and at Gregory A. Wilson is what you would want for that. That will get you over to my Blue Sky channel, and then you can follow me over there, and I'm going to be posting both on Twitter and on Blue Sky until I give up on Twitter entirely. I will still keep an account because I don't want anyone to use my name afterwards, so I'm not just going to abandon it. I'm just going to lock it, shut it down, and then not post there anymore, and it's going to be all about Blue Sky from that going forward. So thank you, Emily, so much. Yes, so that's the link. Please join me and many of my friends, including Emily is over there, and Triffid is over there, and a bunch of other people are over there. So please join us over on Blue Sky, because the sky is bluer. Aha! Aha, aha. I am not offline. You were offline. Let's see. Hey, there it is. Now it's working. Yes, okay, it all works. All right. As always, thank you to the amazing and awesome Shadowed Mage. All right, thank you to the amazing and awesome Shadowed Mage for getting that fixed. Thank you, Shadowed Mage. So yes, !arvcord, !arvtube, !arvtweets, !arvsky, !arvstalk. I did see that. Yeah, Tom. If I come back to the realm at some point, I may do that. I've got other ones to do. I want to do the Dragonlance games on Kryn, and so like there's Shadow Mage has no power here. I'm sorry. I apologize. Please inform your human servant Shadowed Mage that I am grateful that he has created such a mighty and powerful artificial intelligence node as Arcanusbot. Thank you, Arcanusbot, in your wisdom and mercy. So yes, so please do all those things. Gen GMs, we have gotten our latest long form video that just went up about a week ago, a little less than a week ago now, actually. And we are also now posting short videos are going to be coming as live suing ramps up here. So please do support us by checking us out over there. That would be great. Hey, there's Shadowed. What's up? Thank you so much, Shadowed. I know that you weren't responsible and it was totally Arcanusbot. Oh, that's not you. Is that Trollware? That might be Trollware as well. I mean, listen, I know it's actually Arcanusbot, but if it is also Trollware who's doing this, or Shadowed Mage is doing this, then thank you to either Shadowed Mage, Trollware, or Arcanusbot, depending on whichever overlord I'm supposed to greet. It's Trollware. That actually fits, since I know Trollware IRL, so that actually fits. Well, thank you, Trollware. Thank you. So let's see. Okay, so I did all that right. And then the website is arvanelrun.com. Gen GMs, please check that out and follow us over there. And please check out our Hearthglow podcast. I am going to be doing a new long recording of the Hearthglow podcast a week from this Friday. And then Triffid is going to get to work, and we'll have 3 new episodes for you of the audio cut and posted sooner rather than later. Yeah, thank you, Triffid. I appreciate that. I appreciated your words about that because it was what we hoped for, and it was recorded literally the day before the disaster of Tuesday. So, I didn't mean it to be prescient, but in some ways, but regardless. So there's that. And then moving on to the financial stuff, exclamation point Arv Shop is the merchandise area. The entire East Coast internet went down. Jeez, I guess I was asleep during that time. Exclamation point Arv Cord clear to pay your coffee bacon tax, streamer man guy. Oh no. Well, I appreciate the support from those who serve Arcanaspot, Excavation point, and good to see Hillness as well. Excavation point, Arv Treon is the Patreon. Really supports the channel. We really want to get that number over 100 and moving in the positive direction again, because it really is one of the biggest ways that the channel gets supported. That, and you can get cool stuff for yourself and for the channel for various goals. Same thing with subbing to the channel, as Triffid was kind enough to do. You can do that as well. You get those custom sub badges and emotes to use here, there, and everywhere across Twitch, along with inspirations to help our tabletop players, including this. No kidding. I guess I was already asleep by then, so I didn't notice that. What was it? Some backbone collapse troll, or what even was that? I had not heard about that. So yeah, and then Discord, Twitter, and then let's see, where was I? Patreon, subbing to the channel. Yes. Oh, publishing. Exclamation point Icarus. That is my graphic novel from Athos Arts. Exclamation point Library is my Tales and Tomes from the Forbidden Library. That's my 5e adventure and source book from Alligator Alley Entertainment. Almost sold out in print now. Now is the chance. Now is the time to get it if you can. And then let's see. Exclamation point. Wow, that's wild, troll. I did not know that. I was asleep. Wow. Wild, wild, wild. I'm glad that everything worked out okay in the end, that we got it back this morning, but geez. Okay, and then let's see, exclamation point Greyshade. That is my Greyshade IP. Greyshade, Renegade, and Heretic are out now. You can get those at that link. You can also get the audiobook of Greyshade from our very own Trent Sparks there. You can also pre-order the tabletop role-playing of Greyshade from Brandon O'Brien and Alligator Alley Entertainment coming early next year, so I'm excited about that. And definitely you should pre-order that, because as Prince Justin always says, pre-orders are love, pre-orders are life, so please do that. And lastly, exclamation point BLM, Black Lives Matter, important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. Exclamation point Help Now, the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention, important to reach out to others when you need help and reach out to others when they need help as well. And exclamation point Ukraine, UKRAINE, to help the people of Ukraine as they fight back against an illegal and illegitimate war, especially now, with bravery and courage, and send the message we will do so for others in the future. All right, so today we have got Beowulf, Age of Heroes, with the amazing TariToons I'm going to introduce in just a second. And then this afternoon, I will be over at GOG.com's Twitch channel with Pen and Pixels and playing some more Songs of Conquest, which I've been having a great time with. This coming Thursday. All right, sounds good. Enjoy work, Shadow. Thanks a lot for the help. Thank you again as well to Trollware, too. If Trollware has to bail for work, I understand. But thank you to both of these lovely individuals for their assistance, as always. Thank you, thank you. And thank you to Arcanaspot for being a benevolent AI overlord. So let me see. Yes, then Thursday we have got more of Dark Sun Shattered Lands. Had a great time with that game last time. Looking forward for more. It's going to be great. And then on Saturday, we have got, I believe, I think it's, let me just double check actually before I speak wrongly. On Saturday in the park. Okay. Saturday is, yes, that's what I thought. D&D with Infinity and Beyond, Eberron, Oracle of War. And then the following Saturday will be another D&D with Infinity and Beyond, Eberron, Oracle of War. And the Saturday after that will be the relaunch of Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks, featuring Rhiannon Held and LaShawn M. Wannick to join Zach Clay and Toya Kristen Finley. That's going to be a great time. I am super excited for that. So hopefully you can all mark your calendars there. And otherwise, we've got other stuff coming up over the next few days. Oh, and I think also today, if I'm not mistaken, we have nominations for the Chat Chosen Game of the Month, I believe, because let me make sure if that's true. Yeah, because we have D&D with viewers next week. And we have the final vote. Yes, so in 2 weeks, the Patreon Field Chat Chosen Game of the Month. So be thinking a little bit about nominations, chat, that you would like me to play in 2 weeks, about games you can do as well. So definitely check that out also. Otherwise, yes, and 3 releases. 3 releases. And I have had a chance to talk to Cheryl a little bit. Cheryl did a reading for us when we were doing our cover reveal a few months ago. And Songs for the Shadows, which is a really awesome cover, by the way, is going to be good as well. So 4 releases. Well, yeah, but Fireheart is not from Athos, though, right? I mean, I guess The Navigator's Children by Tad Williams is not either. I see what you're saying. Okay, 4 releases. So, but 1 release from Athos, which is Songs for the Shadows, which came out. So, that's the key for this too. So anyway, good stuff. Looking forward to it. It's going to be an awesome time. And now I'm going to unmute myself so that Tari knows we're ready to go. And then I'm going to unmute Tari. And last but certainly not least, I'm going to head over to reveal to all of you. Oh, not that one. That's who I meant. Here we are. There is TariToons sitting in what is totally not a new desk chair.
Totally not.
In any way whatsoever. And I will, let me just slightly adjust this. Speaking of the gestures, so that you're actually centered in the screen. There we go. Perfect. So, hi, Tari.
Now I'm not.
Is good. God bless America. Why? Okay. Good to see you. How is everything on your side of the pond? How's everything with you?
Things are good. I started playing Veilguard since last time. Since you mentioned that, I was like, oh, that's out now. I guess I should play that. And then I was first like, should I buy it? Should I give EA my money? It's like voting with your wallet and all that jazz, but I'm weak.
Thoughts? Is it
I hate how much I love it. It's really fucking good.
I heard good things about it. Yeah,
it pisses me off how good it is. Kind of like, I'm not gonna put down any spoilers, like plot spoilers or anything here. Though one very interesting thing my boyfriend asked me yesterday or the day before yesterday was because like the gameplay is very different from what I usually am, because it's not a CRPG anymore. Very much not. It's very much an ARPG.
Yeah.
Like there's like no tactics, no nothing. It's all just like what's it called? Reflexes, fast reflexes and stuff like that.
Twitch play, if you will.
Very dumbed down character like sheet stats stuff, all that kind of stuff. You basically just have a skill tree and nothing else. There's no character stats or anything. However,
I was gonna say I was waiting for the but here, but
however, so like the thing with Dragon Age is back when it came out, right? The first one, Origins. That was like the last big AAA CRPG we had then for like a decade or so, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the exact timeline here. And that one was great. Was a CRPG, everything. And then Dragon Age 2 came out, which so many issues.
Yeah.
My God, this game. But like
the
main thing that personally pissed me off was how much it was like moving away from the whole CRPG thing.
Mm-hmm.
To mainly appeal to like mainstream console gamers and stuff like that. Like me as a PC gamer primarily, or like at the time anyway, primarily PC gamer. Felt a bit fucked over, but right, because that was like the one series we had, right?
Right.
But the thing is, now Veilguard is like going even beyond that, right? Like now it's not even remotely a CRPG anymore. But I don't mind, because we are now in the middle of the CRPG renaissance. Or like it's a peak of the CRPG renaissance. It's like I have enough other CRPGs to play now. So this can be whatever it wants to be and be good at it.
And it is.
And it's very good at what it's trying to be. Like, let's not kid ourselves. It's absolutely excellent. Like, I'm shocked at how polished the game is. There's like barely any bugs. Like very few times I see like a cape on a character moving weirdly, or a particle effect going off in weird directions or whatever. But like that's it basically. This game is like, I didn't know like AAA games could be this finished at release. Like I didn't think it possible anymore.
7 Rebirth was pretty polished, honestly, when it came out.
Yeah, well, I haven't played that one.
But you're right, though. In general, I think that's true. So if I we do need to get going, but if I were to say because as you know, I was not a big Dragon Age fan,
Yeah.
Origins fan. So because I saw Imaginary Exponents saying it gets better the further it goes. If you like Dragon Age Origins, you'll hate the first 20 hours of it. So what if I didn't really like Dragon Age Origins very much?
They're very different games.
Are they?
Like I don't like.
And I did
Honestly,
I did kind of like Inquisition. I'll say that too. I did kind of like Dragon Age Inquisition.
So like with Dragon Age Inquisition, I think that game was like very much bogged down by its own weight, for lack of a better term. For example, like the levels were way too big because they were trying for the whole open world-ish thing, which was trendy at the time, right? Everybody needed an open world thing because Skyrim had happened. So need to give the mainstream what they want, right?
Right.
But that's really not what the series needed. And now you have like these really streamlined, compact, very well thought out level design. Like the level design is so good in this game. I can't stress it. Yeah, it's like the whole game flow of it is like really, like you just want to keep going. It never gets boring. But like also not like, ooh, action. It's just like it feels good. Like the whole flow of it is just very, very nice, at least for me.
Something I'm seriously thinking about
like,
it. Yeah, at some point.
Trying to think of other games that might be like this. Like the things I don't play a lot of action RPGs in general. But like, yeah, I wouldn't be like. What I'm more wondering about is, did you like the world building at all in Dragon Age Origins?
Ish. I didn't. Yes, ish. I found it very, and I think part of this is not the world building. Part of this is just the color palette. It felt very dreary and sort of drab to me. And
this game is so colorful and varied. That's like the main thing.
Okay.
That it's like all the air, like you go to a billion different areas all over the continent, and they all look completely and feel completely different, which is awesome. And like, oh my god, the fucking costume design. I'm like, what? Like, this is the same studio who gave us Dragon Age 2, which had fucking dog shit costume design for its characters.
Can you compare it to The Witcher at all?
I haven't played The Witcher. Also, The Witcher is like going very much for like a pseudo Renaissance, like historical vibe, right?
Yes, I would say that's
a lot
true.
Of its stuff. And this game is like very much fantasy. Like it's not even remotely trying for anything historical. Okay. It's like very much its own thing.
Okay, all right,
which
that's
is
cool.
fine. One thing, and like I really don't want to put any plot spoilers here, but like based on the themes of the game, I think you would really dig it. I can gladly tell you later in private why, if you don't mind the spoilerific things about it.
I generally don't.
But like, I'm not going to say it on stream, but like I think as far as like themes and plot goes, this might be up your alley.
Okay, very cool. All right, well, I will take that into account very seriously because I thought about the possibility of doing it at some point. Yeah, okay, I will consider that. Also, as you were speaking, my cat has yes. My cat is joined, and I don't know if you can see.
It's a bright spot in the background.
Yeah, it's the bright. Well, not only is the bright
down,
spot.
I think.
Yes, it is currently leaning like this because my cat gets into ridiculous positions. Yes, hi Sherbert. Yes, Sherbert is okay. Anyway,
nice.
All right. So the cat has arrived. Yes, Arvin's owner, precisely. Okay. Well, who are you playing in our game today, Dari?
I am playing the one and only Genoveva of Xanten. Who is a former follower of the first hero I played in this grand adventure, which was Runsild, who tragically went to sleep with the fishes. Wait, you have to say that you are a New Yorker. You can say that, right?
Goes with to sleep with the fishes, Jimmy the squirrel, and yeah.
Basically, but yeah, Genoveva like used to be a follower, and like her whole thing currently is that she does not really feel like she can fill out these big footprints that her friend, her old childhood friend, left behind. But somebody has to do this job, and she wants to try. But long way to go. Luckily, she has good friends by her side who support her. So yeah.
And very much we didn't see a body. Runsild lives. That's true. You have not seen a body. You have not seen a body. We don't know what exactly happened to Runsild. By the way, Tom, just quick note. I really liked The Witcher 3 a lot, but in particular the what is it? The Blood and Wine, I think is the DLC, was the most. It was this bright colored, beautiful, like colorful. It was so great and like set in this beautiful land, and like, oh man, I love that DLC as a farewell to Witcher 3. Witcher 3 is a brilliant game. It's very, very well done. Okay, but yes, so we don't know what happened necessarily to Runesill, but we do know that Genevieve must pick up the sword or the bow.
Went
In
for
this
a swim,
case,
didn't come back.
yeah, exactly. And now we are left with Genevieve to pick up the slack, even though Genevieve continues to claim that she's not a hero and she doesn't understand where everyone gets this idea because everyone
Yeah,
insists
well,
on
she hasn't
calling her
done
a hero.
anything heroic so far.
That's what she says, but
She hasn't. Like, unless she's like an amnesiac who just doesn't remember.
exactly. Suddenly, yeah, well, is making her way towards heroism. Let's put it that way.
Now it turns out she's another incarnation of the Nameless One.
Right, exactly. And it turns out that she's, the whole thing is this weird, like, Faulknerian mental, mind game, and that she actually is rune-silled, but she's having this weird extended hallucination. That'd be pretty cool. I shouldn't have spoiled that one. Like, haha!
Oh,
No.
of course.
So, let's talk a little bit about what happened in our last session, and let me fire up a little bit of music here while I do that. I believe we were looking at, let's give us some Rainland here. There we go. Lovely, lovely. So, in our last session, the Genevieve had come with her followers, had come to the land of Herrogate. The reason was that there was some terrible curse, some monstrosity of some kind that was stalking the land, and that had not only killed a number of people, but had basically caused trade to essentially cease. And this was a huge problem, obviously, for the people who were farther up the coast, who relied on trade from Herrogate. When Genevieve came to that place, she found that there was a reason that people in Herrogate were despondent, and that there were things going on, and that was that Thorfinn, who was basically the leader of that place, his son had gone missing, presumed dead, and his son Arn was a real legend among the people, having supposedly defeated a troll, having defeated a bunch of these like invading bandits, these raiders before. Arn was like all that in a bag of chips, and now that he's gone, his father was deeply depressed and did not want, basically was having a hard time caring about anything else. And when things came up about this possible danger that was haunting the land, he also got very belligerent, basically told Genevieve to get the hell out, and that, there was no problem and that he had it handled, which neither Genevieve nor her followers believed. And so eventually she decided that the best thing to do was to investigate a little bit by going across to the Isle of Holm, which is what you see there on your screen. The Isle of Holm, which is as pleasant and relaxed as Herrogate is dark and foreboding, a place where a festival is held every year, where they shear sheep and play music and everyone has a good old time, now that the troll, which used to haunt the land, is actually dead, and having been destroyed by Arn. What Genevieve found there, though, was that despite the sort of pleasantness on the surface, there's actually a rottenness at its core, because the Scope, which is that person that you see to the top right of that island, this bard had told stories of Arn's victorious battle against the troll. But what Genevieve discovered was that, in fact, what had happened was that Arn and several of the warriors from this village on the Isle of Holm had gone to deal with the troll. Arn had become frightened and had run and had watched as the two warriors had battled the troll, successfully defeating the troll, but only at the sacrifice of their own lives. And then Arn asked Scope to basically maintain the fiction that Arn, had been one of the heroes that had defeated the troll because, he reasoned, people need something to believe in. Well, it sort of took on a life of its own. They began to name their children after Arn and all this kind of stuff. There was all this like, oh, Arn is the greatest thing of all time. And his heroism and the legend of his heroism spread. But as we discovered, this was fundamentally based upon a lie. And so Genevieve and her followers, having discovered this information, and the Scope having been made to admit that he had been telling a lie and that he was tired of trying to hold on to this burden, then the issue becomes, well, what is it exactly that is stalking the land? Because no one has been able to get the full details of this, except that there has been a terrible undead creature of some kind known as a drake who is stalking the land, and there is nobody to defeat the drake because, Arn is missing, disappeared, and as I said, presumed dead. So Hilda, the spearwoman, had come to the Isle of Holm seeking out Genevieve. And it's a good thing that she did, because Genevieve was ambushed on her way back from a trip to the cave where the troll had been battled on the Isle of Holm, when she was ambushed by bandits. And she managed to escape that, but only after Hilda was able to help a little bit, along with her other followers. It wasn't just Hilda. And managed to allow Genevieve to escape with only a few flesh wounds, so to speak, but also with the knowledge that someone clearly does not want this story, the real origins of the story, or indeed who the Drake or what the Drake actually is or why it's attacking these people, to actually be told. And so, as we are about to pick up here, right at the end of our last session, Genevieve had gotten Scope to agree that he would stop telling this tale and that he wanted a truth to be told now. Hilda had offered to accompany Genevieve back to the mainland and to follow one of basically two possible leads that Genevieve had. One of them was this place that Arn used to spend much of his time when he was around, and that was at a place called the Silent Sanctuary, which is this great center of I don't know how great it is, but it is a center of learning. There's knowledge there, books, several people who have great knowledge that live there. So that was one possibility. And then the second possibility was the last time that Hilda had seen Arn alive was at this campsite on the road between the monastery and Herrogate and the town. And so Hilda offered to also bring Genevieve there if she wished. So as I hand things back over to Genevieve, who's just about to leave the Isle of Holm, she has benefited from a long rest. We talked about this last time. So Genevieve is now up to full hit points, which is 25 out of 25 hit points. Followers have been restored and no longer activated, etc. So they're all good to go. And so now the question is, as the morning dawns on the next day, Genevieve, where do you want to go? Because you have those two leads. You've got the campfire between the Herrogate and the monastery, the campsite where Hilda last saw Arn, and you've got the monastery itself. So which of those sounds of interest to you, or is there something else you want to do instead?
I think, actually, that after breakfast and everything, and because she's used to it, she's still the one cooking breakfast for everyone, because it used to be her job, even though she's now the leader.
Heroic eggs.
Very heroic eggs. But she would want to go back to the site where we were attacked and, go a bit digging for clues.
Okay.
On who attacked us and why and where they might have gone.
Okay. So you can do that, actually, and in the light of day, you can see that the bodies of these ones are still there. And the one thing I can note here is that the warriors themselves, let me just see, the warriors themselves, at least openly, don't appear to have any obvious markings. They are wearing, no obvious crests or, carrying any sort of clear distinguishing characteristics. But Hilda is with you. Remember, you had said that you wanted Hilda to come with you.
Yes.
And when Hilda looks down in the light of day, she kind of grunts and sort of shakes her head, and she kneels down. And then she sort of turns one of the faces of the now dead attackers over. And you can see below the beard that there is a little bit of green and gold glinting out from below their tunic and like armor. Okay. And she pulls it up a little bit and she says, I was afraid of this. And she points at the green and gold. You are pretty sure these are Thorfinn's colors.
Okay. I take the necklace. I'm assuming what that is. Or
no, it's like a shirt, like underneath. So you. Could...
Oh, it's not literal gold.
No.
It's yellow.
No, it's like gold color, green color.
Yeah, the livery. No, okay.
But they were obviously trying to cover it, Genevieve, no doubt.
Is looting considered okay in this world? Or is that considered rude and
I would
shit?
not. It depends on the nature of what you're doing. If you're doing it for the right purposes, probably it would be considered an ethical
Or
thing to do.
having money purpose?
Oh, well, I don't know about doing it for money, but if you're doing it for reasons of, like, for example, like these ones are not that these attacked you without announcing themselves. They ambushed you. There was no honor in their attack. So grabbing something from them to sort of figure out more detail about them, there's no ethical issue with that at all. If you're just looting their corpse because, you know, they won't need it anymore, and you could use the extra cash, maybe not as much.
No, but a different thing. So I'm gonna be a bit of a history nerd here again.
Okay.
And maybe somebody in chat will recognize what I'm doing here. Is basically Genofefa and like I don't know who else is with her, who's like also from her home region more or less.
Well,
like would
you would
start
actually
picking up the weapons of the guys
Yeah.
that they left behind, and hit them over the rocks to like bend them and break them, and then carry them to the shore and toss them into the sea.
Okay, you can do that.
Well, because I'm assuming there's no lake here because we're on an island. But...
That's right. So you could toss them into the sea. And actually, Guy, who would be, I assume all your followers would be with you at this point. So, you know, Ibn Mundir, Ibn Ghalib, Rick Mod, and Guy.
Yeah, this wouldn't be the first time that Ibn Mundir and Ibn Ghalib would have seen this.
Yeah. So Guy would probably follow suit and do the same thing. While you're doing that, Rick Mod, who's been sort of hunched over looking down and at the body and then watching silently kind of as you walk over. Now, you weren't right next to the shore, but sort of walking over, you know, following you down a few minutes to get to the shore. It's not a huge island.
I don't know what the...
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's not a huge island, so...
Yeah.
And she says, if there are traders in their midst, you realize that there is some risk to be had by staying here. Perhaps they will try to ambush you again.
Yeah, that's what I was fearing. Wait, how many corpses did we find? And how many people attacked me last
There
time?
were 5.
There were 5 people?
Yeah, you do find 4 of them, not the 5th.
So one of them made it away.
Either that or was seized by animals or something. Yeah.
Did we find any... Oh, like, Genofefa would actually turn to Hilda. Hey, do you remember how many people you offed last night?
There were just a lot of bodies in my way, but I think at least 2 or 3, I'd say. Your Guy there did some of it himself. And Guy
how many did you get?
And Guy sort of says, 1, possibly 2. There could have been injured.
Right. In that case... Yeah, we are gonna go looking for tracks, like, I don't know, blood tracks. Like, for example, if all of them would have been killed, and like some wild animal would have taken one of the bodies away, which is super unlikely. I just want to say, like, this is not a big island. They're not gonna have a huge bear here, I'm assuming. And, you know, a bunch of carrion are not gonna... no, carrion is the bodies, right? What am I thinking of?
No, you're right. You're right.
No.
Like carrion crows. You're talking about the creatures that try to get carrion. But yes, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. And also, they haven't had much time.
I
mean,
can't
like,
think
you
of
know.
the English name. Gaia is a German one.
You mean vultures?
Vultures.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Although I don't know that
Vultures
there's
is the
I
word
don't know if that was a medieval Middle English thing, or
What?
you know, older English thing.
What?
Actual vultures? Would there be would there be an awareness in Western Europe of vultures as a creature?
Oh, you mean
Carrion
like
crows for sure.
Oh, there
but
are
like,
European type of vultures, and I saw some the other week.
Really?
Actually,
There are
in person.
European
Yes.
vultures?
Yes,
Really?
yes. Well, they're like tiny. But yeah, like this.
Like
but,
mini vultures?
Doesn't like vulture. Well, like there's like different types of vultures who all look completely different. Like I think vultures are mainly referred to by what they do and not like by their genealogy or whatever.
I always think of
Just
vultures as having the long curved neck and like you know.
Those are like African those. I forgot the name of those. But like I saw like a huge bird show at the safari park in the region the other week. That was amazing.
Yeah.
One of the big vultures, like the African ones, went after us after the show. It was a bit weird. It was
They
a
went
bit silly.
after you?
Okay, so I went with my friends who were visiting from Germany. Because like going to the safari park is like one of the things that you do when you come visit here, because it's like one of the few things you can do here, because it's actually a pretty boring region. But like basically after the show, like all the birds get to just like hang out basically.
Mm-hmm.
So we left to go on our further tour, walking around the zoo, and suddenly this massive fucking bird lands behind my friend and just looks at him menacingly. And it was one of the vultures from the show.
My
We
God.
just saw the falconer like coming, like trotting on. Is like, hey, come back. It was really
And this is the one where
surreal.
like the typical thing of playing dead is not what you want to do. You don't want to play dead in front of a
No,
vulture.
you don't
Like,
want to play that.
You don't want to. It's the
It does
opposite.
help that my friend is like 2 meters tall. Built like a brick house.
Okay.
But like, so that was a huge bird. Like he reached like to my hip, I think,
Whoa.
all the way, like just sitting.
Nice.
Yeah, these things are big. But like, it was funny. It was pretty funny actually. Like, what was this bird thinking?
Yeah.
Why was he
So then he
coming
ate
after
my
us?
friend, and we laughed and laughed.
No, it was actually funny. But yeah, no, we have various carrion-eating birds.
I see. I see
outside
you,
of,
Effect
like
Life.
crows and ravens.
Regardless of that, it would take longer than the 10 hours since the attack last night for them to do this. And so, yeah, you do not. So, I will have you make a perception check for me, please, as you're looking around for tracks for these things.
Perception.
Also, are you just for my own notes, Genevieve? Are you taking the green and gold, like ripping a piece off to come with you, or?
Yeah, she would.
Okay.
I guess like to put this into perspective, we would first get there, then look for clues, then take a piece of the livery,
and then look for the tracks.
Then put the bodies on a pile, burn them, and then go toss the swords, the weapons.
Gotcha. Okay, that's fine.
So
yeah, give me a perception check. Let's see if you can find. See what you find around there.
Oh, not much.
Yeah, it's very confused. I mean, part of it is that, as you recall, there was a lot of confusion. It was at night and everyone was fighting each other and all that stuff. So it's very hard to tell if there's any tracks sort of leading out of the area that would suggest anything. I will say, though, that as you take the weapons down to the shore, because as I said, it's not right next to it, so it's a few minutes walk to get down to the shore. And I see you, Effect Life. I see you. There may be a delay, but I see your comment. So when you toss the things out into the sea, you can see that in the docks right nearby, your ship, of course, is there, but also tied up not that far from the ship, but not right next to it. So especially at night, if it was moving in quietly, your crew would not necessarily have seen it. There is another boat there, much smaller. It's a boat that probably would have been able to hold between 5 to 10 men, something like that. But the thing that's notable about that is that the boat has no markings either. It is like a boat which seems as generic as you could possibly imagine. And that most boats, including your own, have markings of some sort to indicate the shipwright, to indicate the place where the sort of, not the home port, but like who the king would be that you served, et cetera, et cetera. None of that is here. This is all just like a boat which seems rigged to be incognito. Rigged. Yeah, exactly, Bit.
So there's like no wait. This is like from tracks that go away to.
No, this is you, because this was you. None of the there were no tracks really that you could follow. They're all confused.
Okay.
I was talking about when you actually brought the weapons down to throw them in the sea.
Oh, okay.
That's when you saw this.
Okay.
Thing.
Yeah. All right, everybody, let's go check that out.
Yep, and you can see that the boat is just sort of bobbing up and down in the water. There's almost literally nothing in the boat. There are oars which have been pulled up and lashed to the interior of the boat, but otherwise there are no. Not only are there
like
no
iron ore or gold.
yes, lots of rich oars. No, oars is in the rowing kind, is in the wooden rowing kind. But also there is no. Besides those, there are no water skins, no food or anything else. Whatever this thing was, it was not on the water for long, and it was designed to be laden with as little as possible.
Laden as what? What do you mean by that?
It is not weighed down by anything. It's designed to be as light as possible. Presumably,
that's weird.
yeah.
So that it can tip over more easily.
Well, I think more that it would just move fairly swiftly, and would not have much if people needed to get out of it and leave quickly. Like there's nothing in it to sort of indicate. There are no like stacked weapons or extra, unlit
Well, I mean, like
torches
usually
or
with
things
the
like
ship,
that.
like I'm not an expert, obviously, but like as far as I know, with like most ship designs, unless it's like a barge or whatever the flat ships are called, like you put some weights in the bottom to keep it from tipping.
Yeah,
over.
no, there is some of that. Yes, there is some of the
okay.
ballast. Yes, that's true. But my point is that there are no extra goods. There are no supplies. Like there are nothing like that.
Any tracks? Wait, what kind of shores are those? Probably not a sand shore, right?
Mostly rocky.
Probably, yeah. So probably no good tracks.
Definitely smaller than your ship.
Mine is bigger. Let's. Can I like get a vague idea what culture the ship might be from?
I mean, it's definitely of this general region. It is not from. That's fair. You don't even need to make a check to determine that.
So like not a Mediterranean ship that
No,
sailed around
decidedly
Iberia
not.
to get up here or something.
Decidedly not. No.
Right. Okay. Considering like it's not in the harbor, right? So.
Right. It's lashed nearby. It's anchored nearby.
Should I be a dick about this? I mean, this is just me assuming that this is a ship of the people who attacked me. So I could be a dick now and damage their ship. So if that is really the ship of the people who attacked me, that whoever survived can't further come after me. But what if it isn't? What if it isn't?
What if it's
like so? Okay, so I guess what we can do is like put it so that there would be a delay on them following us, not like completely destroying the ship.
Okay.
Or like doing some kind of damage that is reversible but takes some time to repair or adjust. So I guess. Oh, since you already mentioned rigging, yeah, we're taking all the rigging down. So that would need to be completely re-rigged everything.
Right. I would have assumed that even just like by hiding the oars, like. Not easy to get a ship across, choppy seas by
yeah, but
hoping
like they
for the
can
best.
get new oars somewhere else, is what I'm saying. If they
Sure,
can't
but
find
it'll lay them.
But like, I mean, we can do both.
Yeah.
Take both the rigging down and hide the oars.
Yeah, you can do that. Sure.
Okay, cool.
That'll take you probably about, if you get your crew to assist, because if you like go over to your like an hour, less than an hour, to do all that.
Cool. Yeah, let me do that. And I guess. I don't think we need anything out of the island at the moment, and it probably is wiser to not tell anything. So I guess. Unless we like happen to run into the woman that we first met here. What was her name?
Frida. You're talking about the Weaver.
Frida.
Yeah, you have not seen her.
I knew a guy with that name.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, there was a nickname. It's like a whole thing when, like I'm assuming that happened with his name, but like, when you are part of a generation where like every second boy has like the same given name, which happened a lot apparently with that generation. Like every second boy was named Sebastian, basically. So they
Okay.
all got like nicknames. And often these would be like feminine nicknames just by virtue of German nicknames. Often, if they're derived from something else, they end on an I.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So
I did not know that.
yeah, probably his name was like Fried something, and then Frida. Anyway, weird tangent. Doesn't even end on an I. That one. That one ends on an A. Friedi. That's a weird name. But yeah, I guess unless we run into Frida, we just set sail and bid this cursed island goodbye.
Where's your destination?
I think the monastery.
Okay. And I have the map showing the monastery. Scroll out, or zoom out, I should say. Okay, so we've got this. I'm going to make a... I can't do that. Okay, copy. I'm going to put this down here. But it's not Herrogate. It is... and I should call it by its name. It's known as the Silent Sanctuary.
Known
as the Silent Sanctuary. Okay, so when you set off for the sanctuary, and you're reaching it by a boat, this is a couple of hours, probably. Again, choppy seas, and you're sailing more. Yes, or you just arrive there directly, and then you're there, going to the southeast. As approaching by sea, the first view of the sanctuary are basically the imposing gray cliffs upon which it is built. And at first, you sort of are tempted to kind of despair a little bit, Genevieve, in that it looks like it's just a sheer cliff, like it's 40 feet high, so like you don't think there's anything there. But as you get closer, you can see both Hilda and probably Mundir, I would say, Ibn Mundir, point out to you that there are narrow stone stairs which are carved into the cliff face. And the stairs basically go back and forth, switch back, along the wall, all the way until you get to the bottom where there is a place that you can find a stone dock. However, getting to that stone dock is going to be an interesting one because there are jagged rocks that surround it. And as you get closer, the captain of your boat mutters to himself and he says, "What fool would put a place around here to put a ship? Is that even a dock?" And he points, and there's a narrow stone dock that you can see there, but again, jagged sort of rocks right around it. With consummate skill, I would say, he's able to navigate the boat between and among these rocks and finally get them right alongside the stone dock. But the boat itself is very much like uneven and kind of like, like bobbing up and down, but enough that you're able to get off onto the dock. That's the good news. The not as good news is that now you've got to go up these stairs, and you can see them, but they are very slippery and slick with seawater, and it looks like the waves which crash up repeatedly against the cliff, and you and your followers get sort of soaked a bit by the waves as you're standing there. But they've also worn the stairs smooth a little bit as well. So as you first, stand up on it, you're like, oh, it's very precarious. So, question before you try to climb these stairs. Do you want to do anything in preparation for this ascent?
Of like rubber sole shoes for extra grip.
Not so
Rubber.
much.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't know what really. Besides that, probably, but now like lunch time, so we would have lunch before
Okay.
ascending, so that we are like
A very damp lunch, I would say.
well, I mean, we are on the North Sea. Like, this is just to be expected.
It's just the way it
You
is.
don't
Yeah,
go
no, I know.
sailing here without
Yep.
being, being able to deal with a bit of wet.
Yep. So, all right, you're going to... all right, so you're going to head up that way. Now, who are you bringing with you besides Hilda? Hilda will be behind you making this ascent, but I assume Rickmod probably is not going to be your first choice given the physical circumstances, but maybe I'm wrong. Like,
Well, I mean,
I'm actually a mountain goat.
Fifa would ask her if she would want to come along, because this might be interesting for her. But, like, she wouldn't make her if she doesn't want to.
Right. Well, Rickmod looks up and says, I would be interested in speaking to whoever is in charge of this place, but I am not sure that I can make it up there, unless perhaps if you carry me up, tie a rope to me, perhaps? She kind of slightly chuckles.
I mean, sure. I mean, we can take turns carrying you. She probably doesn't weigh much. I mean, she's old and tiny.
Right.
So...
Probably not. Although it's less the weight and more the, not having both hands to go up this super slick, wet stairs is the bigger issue. But again, if you want to try to use rope or something, that's certainly possible.
Yeah, I mean, we can try that.
Okay.
Be plenty.
Are you roping?
We have a ship.
And actually, are you going to? And while I'm on that subject, are you going to rope all of you and your, like the foot people who are coming up with you, like a mountain climber?
Yeah, probably doing like a rope.
Yeah.
Like a chain thing.
Okay.
Where we're all chained back to back.
Okay. So Rickmod's one. Who else are you bringing besides Hilda and Rickmod?
I think Guy.
Okay.
As like with a ship, as like
Sorry, you broke up a little bit.
else.
You're leaving him with you, or you're taking him with you? I didn't. You're leaving him with the ship, or you're taking him with you?
Guy is staying with the ship, and
Guy
everyone else is coming with.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Okay, so.
God damn it! One second.
Sure.
Hello, hello. Test, test, test.
Yes, I hear you.
3.
I hear you and see you.
Okay, good.
Some internet issues.
Internet.
Yeah.
It's the router, I think, having issues. He is staying. And FIFA would take point, and
Okay.
even Galip in the back.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So then I'm going to have you, as you begin to climb these stairs with care, I'm going to have you make an athletics check for me, please. If you don't have that, I'll just take strength. But you can do this at advantage because you are roped up. So you're making a strength check at advantage. Oh.
I think I'll take the 17.
Yeah, that seems like a good one over the other 17. Yeah, you have...
Right?
You were able to make that check with relative ease as you kind of scramble up. And then about halfway up the cliff face, you notice that the stairs have crumbled in places. So you look down and see the water splashing against it. And Rickmod's characteristic sense of humor seems to have deserted her at the moment. Instead, she's just not saying much as you're being carefully making your way up the cliff face. But you're about halfway up, and I'll have you make a second check now, also at advantage.
19.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be really fucking embarrassing?
Yeah.
If she would fall and die.
Oh yeah, no, I mean you had
monastery step.
You had no problem whatsoever getting up all that way, and you pull yourself up over this, and as you get over the top of it. You were able to see a picture, which I'm going to show you. And by a picture, I mean this is what you see. You're going to see a picture, but actually you saw it IRL because... okay. Give me 1 second.
Like I, as a player, see a picture, but the characters are seeing just reality.
That yes,
That's what you are trying to say.
That's more or less exactly what I was trying to not very artfully say.
A literature professor. Everybody.
Yeah, you know. Hey, listen.
Great with words.
All right, let's see. Sanctuary. Okay, great. All right. I will put this on to Roll20 here. All right. And chat, I will show you at the same time that Tari sees it. Okay.
I don't know if my mic can actually pick that up when I whisper into the microphone like that. Like, hello.
I heard you. Okay.
Don't tell anyone that you heard me.
I'm not actually here. Where's my thing? Okay, that's a bit. There we go. And this, and then over to this. There we go. All right. You see this, and I'll have to resize it, so bear with me just a second. Okay. There we go.
Here we go.
So this is what you see as you cross over reach the apex of the cliff. The wooden ramparts that clearly once surrounded the sanctuary have been burned to the ground, and within, the monastery appears to have been destroyed by fire. There's only one wall of what looks like it might have been the main building still standing, and the stones are blackened and crumbling. And a lot of the outbuildings that you see are in similar states. If you had to guess, you would say the monastery might have been destroyed several seasons ago, and no one has set foot here since. And there's a little gasp from behind you when you look over to see Hilda just staring at this. And it strikes you as odd, Genevieve, because you know that the monks at the sanctuary have taken a vow of poverty, but you don't know why they would have allowed the monastery to fall into such disrepair. And maybe this is why, because it looks like it's been half destroyed, as Hilda's just staring kind of mutely at it.
I try to smell the air if I can smell smoke or anything like it from anywhere. Like from a hearth or something?
Not from this
campfire?
Not from this distance, and not now. No.
Well, this is quite odd. I mean, if the place was destroyed, then surely everybody in the region would have heard about it, right?
Well, and Hilda says, no one really comes here very much is the thing, but I would never have believed anything like this could have happened to it. This was a place that was once revered. I don't get it. It seems impossible, but... And she just sort of stares again. I wonder if... Maybe that's why Arn couldn't... He always found peace here. At least that's what he always said. And Rickmod sort of chuckles and says, I don't think there's much peace to be had anymore in this land. At least not there.
So I'm not an expert on these kind of things, but I heard these kind of like places are usually built of stone. If there was a fire, how was it burnt down?
It's a good question, but it's possible. I know that I've only been here once myself when I was younger, but it was a mixture, I thought, of stone and fire. But not all of it would have just burned down this way. Some of that, she kind of shakes her head, some of that stone could have been pulled down on purpose, you know.
Well, let's have a look around. Maybe we'll figure out what's going on. Okay.
So you make your way up along the path to the burned out ramparts. And as you sort of look closer, kind of come up to the wall, you think... make a perception check for me, actually, please, Genevieve.
I think that I make a perception check.
You think that maybe...
Maybe.
Something happens.
13.
Okay. Yeah, you thought that, you think you maybe catch like a movement out of your eye, the corner of your eye, but as you look over, it's nothing. There are definitely a couple of, might be, rabbits or voles or something like that, like small little furry creatures here that are zipping around. And every structure, as you get closer to the rafters, the ramparts, you can see that at least one single stone building does appear to be still largely intact. It's a small building. It's not the main building, but there's one building that seems to be mostly still together and not burned down or destroyed.
Trying to look up what a vole is.
Oh, it's like like a ground, like a cross between a mole and a. Oh, gosh, well, I wanted to say ferret, but it doesn't have that kind of a long body. Sort of like a rat, a little bit like that.
I'm like looking at it. I'm like looking at the Wikipedia article. I'm trying to, but there's like no German article, so I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
I don't know. Doesn't matter. Some kind of.
It's a Beowulf era rat.
Of course, right.
When the rats were heroic.
When the rats were heroic, right. Rat wolf.
Beow rat.
Wait, where were we? Like something about.
You were coming up to the sanctuary here. So, but you said you were exploring, and as you came closer, I was just mentioning that you saw this like one small building that still stands, whereas the rest of it seems to be mostly broken down.
That's presumably also a metric fuckton of seagulls.
There are some, yes. Yes, there are a number of them. And you're still, I mean, you haven't gone up to anything other than just moving towards it, but you haven't gone inside the ramparts yet.
Oh, no, we would go inside.
You do want to go inside? Okay. So when you come inside the place and you follow the pathway towards this small building, suddenly a scrawny boy leaps into your path, brandishing a sharpened stick. And the boy says, "Stay away! Stay away! We've lost enough already! We don't want any of you!" And I will show I have a picture of this boy.
Oh, hey! All right.
Hang on a second here. I'm putting this on roll 20. Okay. This boy.
Boy.
I'm thinking of God of War. Boy.
Oh, I was thinking of Mickey Mouse.
Boy.
Also.
Yes, that's probably true. I'll actually, you know what? I'll increase the size for a moment just so that people can see the picture of him. So. Perfect
sure,
bit, exactly.
Child.
He leaps in the way, and he says, "We've lost enough already." He looks very wiry and thin, nearly almost feral. You do notice that his hair is shaggy and uneven, Genevieve. It looks almost like it's been cut by maybe a blunt blade or something like that. He has these threadbare trousers. He has an oversized shirt. He looks like he's not starving, but he also hasn't had a lot of, big meals either. And he kind of, like menacingly sort of puts the stick in your direction. He said, "I'm warning you, get away. We don't want any of you."
Well, first of all, hello. I'm Genoveva, and you are?
And he sort of stares at you. "I don't have a name."
All right.
His voice, by the way, is a little ragged, Genevieve, almost maybe from disuse. Like, you get the impression he hasn't talked to a lot of people a whole lot.
Well then, little child. Why are we not allowed here?
Because this is our place, and I don't want you to bother any of us. And at this you hear another voice, and you hear the sound of an old man's voice saying, It's all right. If my time is come, I accept it gladly." And you look over to see an old bent man is coming out of the small building. And I have a picture of this one too. There we go. I'll put that up there. He comes out of the building, and you can see that he is wearing traditional monk's garb. He has a long brown tunic that's made of coarsely worn fabric, and it's tied at the waist with a length of rope. He seems painfully thin, Genevieve, like he's just sort of bent over like an ancient tree on a cliffside swept by wind and rain. His head is bald and his back is curved, and he carries a walking stick. And you can see, looking at him, not just from the milky fog covering his eyes, but also from his behavior, that he is quite blind. And he comes out and he says, "Don't worry on my behalf. We'll be fine. You've come to a place of knowledge, strangers, but the knowledge here has been broken, I'm afraid. There isn't as much as there once was."
Well, hello. I'm Ginofefa. I don't know if you heard earlier. Who might you be? Or do you also not have a name?
None of us that served here remember our names from before. I was simply a humble servant whose job it is to take care of the monastery and the sanctuary here. But as you probably see around you, I have failed in that task. "It wasn't your fault," the boy says angrily. And you see, like, the kind of, he sort of carefully making his way over, the monk sort of pats the head of the boy.
So we have some questions if you have some time for us.
That depends on whether you can help an old man with a few small things. And there's sort of like looks up and around, again, just sort of stare, like obviously blind, staring at the sky, or at least his face uplifted. There's a little bit of rain and sort of drips down, drops on him as he's looking up. And he says, "The garden needs tending. I would have you pull the wild stinging nettles in the garden. You can find it over there behind the building. There's a hedgerow." And the boy says, "Do you want them to do that? That's our task." "I'm asking them," he says.
Oh, I can cook dinner with those. So that's fine.
And he kind of smiles but doesn't say anything, just sort of gently swaying back and forth as he leans on his walking stick.
Yeah, I suppose, while we are here. I don't see why not. Do you have a place where we can put our things to get them out of the wet?
Well, you could probably put them right next to the building we have. There's a roof that overhangs the edge, and that should keep things dry.
Ah, that's wonderful then. All right. Let's get to it then.
So, you go back to the garden, which has been described, and this is like, the nameless boy accompanies you, sort of glaring suspiciously at you. The calling it a garden is really probably an insult to actual gardens. It's this is like kind of practically a fallow field. That may at one point have had wildflowers in it, but now has mostly just sort of broken down like old reeds. There's like a couple of scrawny, in quotes, trees, like, you know, that are sort of looks more or less like the monk himself, actually, kind of still hanging in there against the wind. But you can see that there is a lot of scrub brush and kind of low ground cover, and below or behind, I should say, one of those outcroppings of bush, you find these wild stinging nettles. And I should say, Genevieve, that as you and your followers start to pull them, this is not a pleasant task. More than once you're like, oh, you know, like, because it stings your hand and it's like uncomfortable, and you know.
Gregory,
are you going to tell me you have harvest wild stinging nettle? Is it?
No, but I'm wearing gloves, as you can see with my character photo.
Yeah, that's fair. No, but listen.
And they are made of leather.
That's fair. But I do want to say, and I know you've done a little bit of gardening yourself, there are thorns, and I know this because it's happened to me.
Wait, on the nettles?
Even through thick, like, leather gloves, they can sometimes pierce those. Now, they don't do it much, and it's not going to do any damage. They're also
like mutant metals do you guys have in?
Oh yeah, there's some serious
thorns.
Absolutely,
what?
Yeah, absolutely.
What?
Although, in fairness, the issue is not so much dealing with that as it is just that they're also very like tough and hard to pull out. So you're like, ugh, you know. So it takes a little while, but you do manage to pull out the nettles. And having done that, when you go back to report, the monk is now sitting on a...
Oh yeah, she has like a whole basketball bag full,
Okay.
something like that.
So he's sitting on like a stone bench.
Turn this into like a spinach, basically.
Yeah, well, he's like sitting on a stone bench right outside this small little building, and when you come back, he's just sort of sitting there. And what is that? You? Did you manage to get the nettles?
Well, I am me indeed. I'm not sure if by you mean me, but I am me. So hello.
And the boy says, "I'm here too. They got the nettles, it looks like."
Yep. If you want to, I can cook some lunch with it.
And he says, No, I have another thing in mind. Just put that down by my feet. And thank you. Only another thing to get now. I could use a pouch of cloudberry leaves from the forest. Not always easy to find them, but they would be very useful. And the boy sort of stares up at you as if daring you to demur and say you don't want to do it.
So, Fifa leans like down over to Rigmod. It's like, what the frick are cloudberries?
And
is that like a local thing?
And Rigmod shrugs and says, I don't know, but I would assume they aren't too difficult to find. There are small berries to be found in the forests of many places in our world. All you need to do is ask for a description of them. The boy should be able to tell you. Yeah, berries only accessible via the internet, yes.
So like the first thing that comes to mind is like raspberries or blackberries, because I guess if you squint, they kind of are cloud-shaped. But like, I'm sorry, I have no idea what those cloudberries are.
And
also, what season is it, out of character?
Oh, it is... That's a good question. I think... Let me see. Give me a second, because
aren't we like in spring or something?
I believe we're in spring. Yeah, that's what I was just looking for. Yeah, I believe that's right.
So usually there aren't a lot of berries in spring.
These are special. They only grow during the time of the early spring, when the rains have begun to come, and when the rest of the land is recovering from the cold and chill. You can find them usually under layers of frost, and if you are careful, you might be able to see them even from a little bit of a distance. They say that they are made of a bright white substance, although I cannot say myself. And the boy says...
Oh no, Knallerbsen. What are those in English? That's like the first thing that goes.
You're not going to make the Monty Python joke about berries.
Schneebeeren.
Is
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, is
That's
that a
like
thing?
a thing. Those grow everywhere. King's whatever grows everywhere.
Kingsfoil. Kingsfoil, aye, sweet.
Common snowberry is what I'm thinking of now. That's like the one white berry that I know.
That might be close.
Round.
Could be close, yeah. Could be
not
close,
edible though, but you can like smash them on the ground and then like plop.
Mm-hmm. So, and it's there's a surrounding forest that basically is right slightly to the east. In fact, if you look at the map, Chad, I'm not going to move this again because I'm going to move it off the thing, but for Tari's benefit, you can see here, over on the side of the map here, that there is a little bit of forested area, and there are, without getting that far, over here there are several like groves and stuff like that of forests, of woods of trees where these things presumably could be found.
Yeah, Tom. So, I guess we would go on this fetch quest then. Like, I know as a character, I know that this is of course busy work because this monk is fucking with that, but Faith, I wouldn't know. He's just too nice. So she's just, oh, Yeah, I'm used to doing chores. This is my job.
And as so you when you go over
Question
there,
it.
let me have you make actually an let me make an no, perception. Let me have you make a perception check here as well, just to see how long it takes you to find this thing.
That's a 6.
You're like, God damn it, where are these things? So what it means is it takes you longer to be able to track down these things. The monk was not lying that there are not as many of them that can be found. Like they're only just starting to grow, basically. But you do eventually find. It takes you though probably an hour or so at least to track down a pouch of these. Just basically a selection of maybe 10 or 15 of these berries that are actually decent size, and they have this sort of bright white outer skin, and then these very dark green leaves that sort of lead them to where the berries are attached on the stems of this plant. So you're able to gather some of the stems of the plant. As I say, maybe 10 or 15 of these berries all told.
So does Genofifa recognize these?
No,
Or are these like completely new?
these
Okay,
look new to
whack.
her. Now they do look like, I mean, berries are berries on a certain level, so they're small. They seem much larger than berries that she has seen at home,
Berries are
but they're not
berries.
not something she's ever done. So
Most offensive thing you've ever said on stream.
what's that?
Berries are berries. No.
Berries are berries. No, how dare you say that? No,
How dare
I mean, like wild berries is there's a certain look to them, I guess. But the brightness and the size is definitely not something that Genevieve has seen before.
Right, yeah, she's bringing those back. It's like, so I've never seen these before. What are these? Are these safe to eat?
Not unless they're used in a specific way. But you mean you have found them? And
Yes.
the boy says,
A few.
"It took her long enough, but yes." Well, that's not to be surprising for you. You're from this area, but this one is not. And so if you put the berries down like next to the things, and remember, this is like an hour since you went and did this, and the guy looks like he hasn't moved. He's just been literally in the same spot.
Yeah, well, he's old. He probably doesn't move a lot.
Right. He has still the question mark over his head. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
And then he says, just one more thing needed. Among the ruins here, you can find some sprigs of wild mint. If you can find a few of those and bring them back, and you hear a grunt from behind you, and Hilda says in a not very concealed stage whisper, how long are we going to put up with this? We came here to find out what happened with Arn, not to do quests for an old man.
Hilda, Genofifa looks at Hilda, like, really seriously. Hilda, we can have tea with, we can make tea with this.
What, tea? We're trying to find out what happened to Arn.
Yes, but it's warm and yummy and will refresh us. Like,
And she looks over
don't turn
and
down the delicious mint tea, Hilda.
and so she kind of looks around helplessly, and I think it's probably Ibn Mundir who says, she's right. Tea is not to be missed. And Hilda, in a very exaggerated sigh, stalks off into the ruins. And so the blind monk just sort of with the same beatific smile on his face waits. So are you going to go find this?
Yeah,
to find
and
this?
I'm assuming this is not going to be difficult because if there's any mint growing here, then it's growing everywhere.
I would
That's
like
what
a
mint does.
nature check for me for
Unless
this,
there
please.
is actually no mint here.
That's right. This is going to be a nature check. Now, I do want to remind everybody, by the way, chat, we do have inspirations available. It's only mid-month, and we have a bunch of other sessions coming of other things, so I don't want you to use them up. But if you have inspirations available...
Don't give me inspiration for looking for a bunch of mint. Please, I beg you.
Just
that
saying.
would be incredibly silly. Wait a second. What does this feed do? mind. Okay, nature.
You eat a berry, you level up. Is that how it works, Tom?
That's a 19. I find all the mint.
You find all the mint.
lands.
You're like mint for days.
And also, she would pick like an extra lot of mint, to make tea for everybody, because it's a cold, clammy day. It's disgusting weather, and this is gonna be really nice.
Exactly, enough for retirement bit. So she just looks around and she's like, "So anyway, I started harvesting." cut. In a few months, watch
I
it too.
should just go downstairs into my garden and just grab a handful.
So grab some mint. Be like, haha, like IRL.
I can do that if you give me a mint.
You do. I mean, listen. If you want to be fully immersed, All right, we're gonna go get mint. All right, so I can't wait to see this. This is gonna be great. While we're waiting, chat, you are watching Day 11 of Beowulf: Age of Heroes. This is Horror at Herrogate Part 4. I am joined as always by my dear friend TariToons, who is doing the good job, doing the work that we see here. And if you like what you have seen and heard, please follow the channel. We do the Beowulf stuff once to twice a month, and we also do a lot of other tabletop stuff here. We've got my Eberron Oracle of War campaign coming up this Saturday and the week after. We also have the relaunch of Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks coming up 2 weeks from Saturday, this coming Saturday. And we've also got By the Dice Roll coming up a week from today with more Ghosts of Saltmarsh. So we do a lot of tabletop play on this channel, and it's going to be good times. Be the most hard to grind point you ever did. Yeah. It's true. Well. Oh, she's back with the mint.
I found the mint.
You found the mint. Ha-ha. Success.
Oh, so good. My God.
Actual mint. All right. Well.
Moroccan mint, by the way.
Really? Oh, that's cool.
I will have it as tea later after this.
So, speaking of that, when you bring this back, this stuff of mint, the blind monk is there, and the boy says, "Well, she found the mint." And the blind monk nods, and Hilda growls, "That's enough now. We've done all these tasks. We have questions for you." And the blind monk sort of nods slowly, and he says, "Well, before there is knowledge to be given, I had knowledge I must gain of whether those who seek my counsel are worthy of it. If you are unwilling to do tasks for an old blind man, then you are not worthy of the knowledge that one would give you. But you did these tasks without complaint or challenge, and so I will help you." And you notice that the strong quaver in his voice and everything is gone. Now, he's not like, "I'm actually," like he's not going to become the most interesting man in the world voice guy suddenly. But he definitely has a different sounding voice, I would say, than he had before. And so, having done all of that, he says, "Follow me, please. And, boy, bring in the items that have been taken." And so the boy, without saying anything, picks up the nettles and the leaves and the mint.
Not all the mint.
Brings in every bit, seizes the mint from you. No, I'm just kidding.
No. He's gonna put on a kettle, or I'm assuming that's some fireplace or something.
He's already doing that.
Oh,
he is already putting a kettle.
Yeah, but
apparently
he's
he had the same idea.
Brew.
So it appears. It turns out that he also is making a tea. It is a drink of steeped herbs, this nettles, cloudberry leaves, and mint mixed together. And the thing about it is that as this sort of thing fills the building, and I should say that the inside is essentially not much more than just like a simple stone house with some pallets of straw for beds. There is it's a little ambitious to call it a fire in a fireplace. It's kind of a smoldering something or other there. And there are several, there are no chairs or anything like that, although there are several books that you notice that are stacked on the ground in various places. And there is a hook over this fire, and the boy sort of stokes the fire a little bit, so it gets it a bit going a little bit faster than it was. And then there is a Over it, you have basically a spit from which you can hang things like this iron kettle. So he does indeed put this iron kettle up, and then the herbs, the sort of smell of these herbs come up as they begin to brew. And then pouring into several wooden cups. He doesn't have a lot. He basically has like 3.
We would have our own cups.
Okay, so then he's able to pour it in the mugs. Okay, not without complaint. Well, not without complaint from Hilda, but without complaint from Genevieve. So,
smells so fucking good.
Yeah, and I was
going
to say,
sitting here sniffing this.
That's
like
perfect,
because
actually, that's exactly. It smells amazing as well when you're there too.
Oh, by the way, can I have a roll on whether or not I have some honey with me? Like a jar of honey.
Which would have been presumably preserved from last year, right? Because if we're in the spring...
Well, it's honey. It doesn't go bad.
No, I know, but I don't know how much you would have eaten.
Well, to be fair, we did only leave something like, a week ago? Less?
Right.
So she would have brought some
Okay.
provisions.
Sure.
Which might have included some honey.
I would allow you to have honey, sure.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Yeah, then she would procure this jar of honey. It's like, behold, liquid gold.
And the boy sort of narrows his eyes. It looks like some kind of gold liquid, like a soup.
Yes.
He kind of wrinkles his nose.
It's very thick soup, though. And she, like, after taking a sip of the brew, would I guess get out a wooden spoon or something and put a little bit of it in her cup. Stir it around, take a sip. It's like, yeah, very good, and then hand it to the little boy to try.
Mm-hmm. And the boy sort of, I don't want to drink this, and the monk says, "You should try new things, boy. You may find some value out of them." And
anybody else want some?
He nods and takes a little bit of the honey, and then sips it. And then nods and says, "Yes, not bad, actually." So Hilda, of course, is practically bouncing off the walls at this point as you're drinking this tea, but reluctantly, follows your lead. And after you've drunk tea for a little bit, I see what you did there. Then she said, the monk says, "So, you came to ask me some questions. What would you know of me?"
Well, I guess the obvious thing first, what happened to this place?
Ah, that is a tale. I remember it right well, though I wish I did not have to. Several years ago, there was an attack on the sanctuary. A group of raiders, I think. And we've had bandits before, but not any that wanted to destroy us. Here, these bandits seemed like they wanted not only to destroy us, but to raise this hall of knowledge to the ground. We're not warriors, we're librarians, knowledge holders, sages. We had no thing we could do to protect us. The monastery was already aflame when Arn arrived. Yes, they told me that he strode into the middle of the enclave here. He demanded to know what had happened. I only heard his voice. I was trying to protect the boy here, who was younger. But Arn fought valiantly against the bandits. But there were too few of them, and too many of the raiders. Finally, they dragged me and the boy from our hiding place. And Arn, the only one who had survived in his attack, begged for a truce. He offered the treasure within our monastery in exchange for his own life and the lives of me and this boy. The leader laughed, said that he needed only to kill Arn and the monastery's treasures would be his for the taking. And then Arn offered the raiders his family's sword. It was an ancient weapon, believed by his kin to have been forged by a witch using the powers of the old ways. The leader agreed. He allowed Arn to travel back to Herrogate with 2 guards while the raiders held me and the boy hostage. But while Arn was away, the raiders looted the monastery. They set fire to the remaining buildings, all but this one. We huddled among the ashes, awaiting our fate, surrounded by the crackle of flames and the cackle of hard men's laughter. And he pauses for a moment, and you can see his face sort of alit by the shadows of the fire that has been lit in the fireplace here, as he is holding on to his tea, as if he is remembering it, even sightlessly sort of staring off into the distance. I did not think Arn would return. I've met heroes in my time, and most of them failed to live up to the legends that they cultivated. Heroes are as likely to be liars as saviors in my experience. And besides, Arn didn't really know me or the boy. He had come here for solace, but he kept to himself, and we assumed he would, having escaped, saved himself. But we were wrong. He held true to his word. At dawn he came back with the ancient sword. When he handed it over to the raiders, their leader flinched, recoiled. It looked nothing more than like a dulled and pitted blade, the symbols of power on it all but worn away. He was enraged, and I heard a slap, a sound, a punch. The boy said that someone hit Arn, and the boy nods and says, "He did. He hit him over the head with the hilt of his weapon. I saw it. And then when Arn was lying on the ground unconscious, the leader of the raiders went over and threw the blade into the sea. And then he left. He didn't even bother to kill us. It was as if he forgot we even existed." "We were saved," the monk says, "is what you mean. Saved for a higher purpose. Even Arn. But when Arn did finally come to life and wake up again, he swore that he would never let this happen. He had been a hero, a great hero, and he had to live up to it. And then he left. He was so angry, so filled with anguish." The monk goes on to explain that the raiders' fire basically destroyed absolutely everything within the monastery, including sacred and mystical texts and ancient scrolls passed down through centuries. And he says, "It was a great loss, but it was the only loss suffered that we can be righted, because I had promised that I would memorize the texts so I would never be without them. I wasn't always blind, you know. There was a time when I could see. And when I could see, I saw wonders within the pages of these books. I, in the ruins, have been reciting the texts aloud, and the boy has been writing them down for me for years."
You can write?
And the
And she looks
boy
at the boy.
and the boy stares and says, "Yes, I'm really good at it too."
That is impressive. I can't write or read.
And they sort of kind of grumbles. Okay. The monk says, "I wonder if," and he pauses, "perhaps you'd like to read the texts that we've done. Perhaps you might find some wisdom there."
I'm sure that my companion here, Ibn Mundir, would love to read it to us, because I think he might be the only one of us who can read. Ibn Galib, can you read?
Ibn Ghalib nods. He probably can, although Ibn Mundir is more of the expert.
Great.
And
Now it's written in a different script that he doesn't know.
yeah, exactly. So the question is, now Hilda is sort of like, we don't have time to read books. We've got things. And the blind monk interrupts her for the first time and says, attacking with a sword and a shield is well enough, but only a fool would attack without knowing what to do before the attack begins. You don't even know yet, do you, what you're looking for? And Hilda growls, I want to know what happened to Arn. And the monk says, and perhaps you should read and gather what knowledge you can.
I'm wondering. So the raiders, like, I'm assuming they took any kind of riches they could find, right, before they burned the place?
Whatever there was that was left, yes.
So, how did you manage to keep the books? Because they must have been probably the most valuable thing here, right?
And he smiles and he says, all right, boy. And the boy sort of like looks and the eyes narrow and then and walks over and straining, he pulls at a flagstone that is in the ground. And lifting them up, you see there are a number of what look like books and maybe some quills and some ink. But it looks like a lot of the books are either blank or half blank, as if they've been written in and used. And the
God, I wish Genovefa was a bit more worldly right now, because now I could go off on like manuscripts and shit. But no,
Yep.
I can't. That would be out of character. She doesn't know shit about books.
but Ibn Mundir, if so, the question is,
Ibn Mundir would be like all over that shit.
Are you going to try to? So you're going to have Ibn Mundir try to read it? I assume.
Yes, absolutely.
So let me ask this.
I mean, like Genovefa wouldn't even need to ask; he would just be like, "Whoa."
Yeah, you just grab it. So
Chinese.
So Ibn Mundir, as he begins to read this, this is going to take you, Genevieve, probably a day or more, because there's a lot of text to kind of go through. While you're doing that, or while Mundir is doing that, what exactly would you and the rest of the party want to be doing around this silent sanctuary?
So I'm assuming that Rigmod would like to probably hang out with this old monk and just like, talk philosophy or whatever.
Exactly. Yes.
Probably be bitchy at each other a bit.
It's a slumber party. Hey, Tren. What's up, man? It is indeed a slumber party. It's a
hey, Tren.
It's a slumber party with a blind monk, a nameless boy, and a reluctant hero and friends. Yeah.
So Genovefa would actually try and convince the boy to show her the area, show her if there's anything cool to see, or like just, see if they can like help in any other ways, like maybe do some tasks that like either one of them can't do.
Mm-hmm. And I would say that you're able to do that a little bit. The area around here is somewhat unforgiving, but in the local forests nearby, there are a number, of those berries previously mentioned. There are other like leaves and herbs and things like that you find. And clearly that's what both he and the monk have been subsisting on for quite some time, are basically this hunting and gathering, but mostly the gathering kind. Although there are a couple of snares that you see have been left for animals. So there is a little bit of that, but overwhelmingly it's berries, it's plants, it's, different things like that that are sort of the mix. And
so I'm assuming we are staying overnight, right?
Yeah, theoretically.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of room in that stone hut, basically.
No, but we would like have brought like some like oil tarps or whatever.
Right.
To like make a camp.
It is
not going to be comfortable, but
I was going to say
fine.
It's definitely cold and sort of rainy and somewhat miserable up there, but it is better than the case was there.
Also,
okay. Relevant to the game, you should definitely look at it before we wrap this session. Oh, all right.
do that right now.
I stand ready, Tren.
Also, Tren, you missed me running downstairs to grab some mint because my character had to.
Yeah, she got some in real life. She got some in real life mint. Tren.
I can do that. And we drank some tea, some nice mint and nettle and cloudberry leaf tea. I don't know what those are. Or supposed to be. Sounds like random fantasy crap in my historical game. Fantasy, disgusting.
What I love of so I'm going to describe which is very relevant to this game. I am not surprised though, Tren, that you have sent me this particular link. So what Tren has sent me is a first look from the Discussing Film Twitter, a first look at Grendel in the Grendel movie, which tells his side of the story about the rivalry with Beowulf. What I love, now I knew a little bit about this, but I had forgotten about the casting. So Jeff Bridges plays Grendel, which is interesting. Dave Bautista is Beowulf.
Wait, Jeff Bridges as in The Big Lebowski?
Yes, and the guy who was the bad guy in the first Iron Man movie, and he was in Starman, and he was in Tron, the original Tron.
I mainly know him from The Big Lebowski. That's
and
like
then
the
Dave
big role that left him.
Dave Bautista is Beowulf. I mean, fine, because he's huge, big dude. Like,
the wrestler.
Makes sense. Yes. And also voted.
Yeah, I can see that.
He also voted the right way, so I'm on board with that. But then this is my favorite: Bryan Cranston as King Hrothgar. Like Breaking Bad, the Beowulf edition. Like just
no, Malcolm in the Middle, Beowulf edition.
Oh my god.
Grendel in the middle.
Great. Yeah. Better call Beowulf.
That's gonna be a movie, all right, or series or whatever.
I know. I was like, and the character design looks very cool. It's Jim Henson based, so you would expect that it would. Yep.
It's gonna be a Muppet movie.
Definitely. If you take a look at the picture, yeah, it is. So thank you, Tren.
Did he put that in the group chat, or where did he put it, or did he just send it to you private?
I'm gonna put it in our Beowulf one, right here. Okay.
Ooh, that looks awesome.
I just can't get over, because Jeff Bridges. No, it wasn't Jeff Bridges. It was Nick Nolte played the Queel. I have spoken. Okay, so it wasn't him. Wood Smooch. Yeah, this is the least surprising leg share of all time from Tren. By the way, can I just say the least surprising?
Give too much away, but I sometimes send Trendane various pictures that I happen to stumble online, and the kind of comments he leaves on those is, revealing. Like,
well, the problem, Tom, with a lot of the Beowulf movies that exist so far is that a lot of them are kind of meh. Like the Zemeckis one, where like Grendel's mother is Angelina Jolie in high heels, and like then there's another one that
this before, but I unironically like that movie. It's a bad movie, but I love it.
And then
it's not a good movie. I acknowledge that. But
then there's Beowulf and Grendel, which is basically this one that has oh God, what's his name? Gosh, I can't remember the name. Wait a minute. The main guy is a reasonably well-known guy.
I mean, the best Beowulf adaptation is, of course, the 30s Warrior.
Right. Yeah, we talked about that before. Yeah, who the heck is Beowulf? Directed by Sturla Gunnson. Loosely based on the Anglo-Saxon. Yeah, you got that right. Gerard Butler. That's the one I was trying to remember. Gerard Butler. But it does have Stellan Skarsgård as Hrothgar. So there's a couple of fairly big ones, but then there's like this witch that comes in, and like there's this others, and then this guy, Ingvar Eggert Sigurdsson as Grendel. So they like went to there like, we're gonna get the most Nordic McNordic face that we could possibly get, but he just looks like this big dude. He just like literally is like this guy running around. He's like, "Rawr!" You're like, okay, you're a big dude. Like that's not Grendel, you know. You leave Angelina Jolie in high heels alone. That's a value in itself. Listen, I'm not objecting so much to Angelina Jolie in high heels, okay? I also enjoyed Tomb Raider. I'm talking about Angelina
She's
Jolie
wearing
in
boots in that one, not
right.
high heels.
That's true. But I'm talking about Angelina Jolie. Like Grendel's mom is just
It's so dumb.
What
It's
the
so stupid.
Oh God. Oh my God. Beowulf is the one about the German rat. A Beowulf movie with Borat would be great. Anyway, thank you for that link, though, Trent. That does look really cool. And we are desperately in need of an actual, honest-to-God Beowulf interpretation that isn't whatever the hell. Okay. Right. So where were we? Yeah. So as you're going around, the boy explains a few things about himself. You get him to explain that he has been at the monastery for about 6 years. He says he's probably somewhere around 10, if you had to guess, although, again, he's small for his age. He doesn't remember a lot of his life before, except he does remember when he lost his home because raiders attacked his family's farm. They killed his parents. They lit the homestead on fire, and he ran and hid in the woods for several days. He was on the move, and he slept in the underbrush. And lost and starving, he stumbled onto the monastery where the monks took him in, and he has served them faithfully ever since. So you would describe him as a pretty angry, but more or less desperate to just keep people away, because he just wants, it feels like, to have the peace of just him and the old blind monk hanging out again, is basically all that he wants. So yeah.
Do you maybe think that we are raiders? Is that why you are scared of us?
I'm not scared.
Or angry at us. That also works. But do you think that we are raiders?
Anytime people come from the outside, bad things happen. That's all I know. We're here, and we don't need anyone else. And then someone comes, and then bad things happen. The raiders came, and they burned down the monastery, and they killed all the monks but one. And that just happens every time people come around with swords and armor and bows and arrows. I've seen it before.
Well, this time people with swords and armor and bows and arrows came around and brought honey. Like, did you like it?
And he sort of like gives a tight nod. Doesn't matter though. Whatever happens in the end, it'll be bad.
And then she looks him up and down. You did mention earlier that like his clothes are really run down, right?
Yeah. And like way too big for him.
Did anybody ever teach you how to mend your clothes?
Well, the monks kind of did. I mean, they do what they can. The one who's left, well, he tries to help, but he's blind. He can't see. He cut my hair a little bit, and now you think you understand a bit as to why the hair is so like rough and uneven and all that.
I understand that. How about I show you how you can keep your clothes prepared, and maybe we can do something about your hair too while we are at it.
And he kind of narrows his eyes. First of all, thank you, TomTom, for gifting a sub to Imaginary Exponent, and welcome back to the Arvanaut subscriber list, Imaginary Exponent. You now have the coveted 3-month quill, by the way. And TomTom has gifted a number of subs over the years. Has gifted 10 gift subs in the channel, and so thank you, TomTom. I appreciate that. Thank you.
So, considering the quilts, I guess the subscribers aren't subscribers, they're subscribes.
Oh, I see what you did there. Outstanding. It's like you were following your own script. Got him. Okay.
No, I went completely off script with this one.
Well, I suppose, yeah. So, yes, 3 months. There we go. Oh, and your quill, that's right. The 3-month quill is green, Imaginary Exponent. Ooh. So it now matches your name.
Nice color.
By the way, we just got another 4 or 5 emote slots unlocked, Tari. And I was thinking that like an Arvany writes, like a Fifi like writing furiously on a notepad. You know, I was thinking of a couple of other emotes I was thinking about commissioning you for.
Well, we should talk about that.
We shall talk about it. We're good. Yeah, no, we're not going to talk about it here, but I'm just saying.
Because otherwise we are going to be sitting here for a few more.
No, we're not going to do that. I'm just letting you know. It's like you're doing a slumber party. They're doing each other's hair. That's right. No, it's totally different. So the boy sort of looks at you. He says, what are you going to do? You're going to pretend to help and then you're going to hurt, right?
Excuse me, could you repeat that, please? You were like cut off there.
Oh, he said, you're going to pretend to help me and then you're going to hurt. That's how that works, right?
Why would I hurt you? Also, why would I need to pretend to? Like, I could, if I wanted to, just hurt you like that. Couldn't I?
Sometimes people do things to be extra mean.
Yeah, well, I'm not those people. Whoever they are.
I would...
Also, and then she, like, leans over and, like, vaguely smells his hair. Also, you need your hair washed.
What? It's fine.
Come on.
I would like you to make a persuasion check for me, please.
Second. Just checking my feet. Do I have any feet that allow me to convince little boys to take a bath? Thinking little children.
Convince children to take baths. Convince children that they're somehow dirty. That's the real tech. You can convince them that they're dirty in the first place. First, you got to do that. Your hair is dirty. No, you don't just say your hair is dirty, Bit. That's like, fact does not matter. Listen, I can tell you as a father of an 8-year-old myself, fact in this does not apply, okay? He'd be like, whatever.
What did you say? Persuasion, right?
Persuasion. Yeah.
Oh god, I don't get any bonuses to this. A 10? Wait, do I get advantage because I gave him honey?
Yes, actually.
Yes.
One of the criteria is if the hero offered the child food, and you did.
I did!
Honey.
Oh my god!
So
I knew that, totally. I read ahead and knew that that was...
You knew that was going to happen.
Yes. Definitely
So,
for that.
the boy sort of... All right. But if it hurts, I'm going to run away.
It's not gonna hurt. And you may run as much as you do if I lie.
Okay, so how do you wash his hair?
Well, like, first of all, like, would put on a kettle with hot water. And I'm assuming they have, like, some kind of, like, basin or... what's it called? Like a...
Bold
like a
of you to assume, but they do have a bucket,
Like,
yes.
they're gonna have
They have
some,
a bucket.
like,
No, they have a bucket,
thing.
yes.
Like, what am I thinking of? Eine Schale. Like, I'm unlearning English now that I'm living here. Jesus. A vessel.
Okay.
I don't know. A bowl! That's
a
the word I'm
bowl!
looking for.
Oh!
A bowl.
I thought it was bigger than that. Okay. Yeah, no, they definitely
like,
have a bucket.
Just, like, big enough to, like, use it to wash his hair, basically.
Right,
I mean,
okay.
he has short hair anyway, so,
That's right.
yeah. Yeah, she would just do that, like, probably, like, just with warm water.
Okay.
I don't think soap is invented yet in any meaningful way. What would they have used? Like, potash? I guess?
Well...
Okay, she's using whatever she has at hand that she could use to clean his hair.
And certain herbs, too, because it would be less about the dirt and more about the smell.
Well, like, also, like, getting all the grime and whatever out.
Yeah. Right, but I'm talking about what they would think. Anyway, yeah, you are able, so clearly you are tending to him, having the benefit also of sight, which the person taking care of this boy has not had the benefit of.
Well, and also she would have a comb, so she can comb out his hair.
Yep. He complains about this part. You said it wouldn't hurt, like, because there's, like, knots and everything, as you're trying to,
It's gonna hurt more if you are gonna struggle.
You
can have more honey afterwards.
Really?
Yes, really.
Oh, all right. Clearly liked honey more than he admitted.
Well, I mean, it's sugar, and this is a child, of course.
Yeah, exactly. So he...
This is before the invention of Snickers bars.
Just shave his head.
No.
All right, so
but yeah, she would, like, wash his hair and then, like, you know, give him a haircut that's like, roughly all at the same length. And, yeah.
So, so as you are, you know, as you're doing this, the boy's sort of, his voice kind of softens, and once you're all done and you've sort of, and you kind of dressed him up a little bit now that he's much more, you know, clean actually, he kind of looks at you and he says, I guess I should show you something. I mean, if you want to see it, I don't really care.
Ooh, I would love to see something. What is it?
Well, you said you wanted to know about Arn, right?
Yes, actually.
All right, well, and he, so he zips off back to the stone building, Although I guess you did a lot of this near the stone building. You
Yeah,
might
we
have
would
done
have
it,
set up
probably
like
done it
camp
inside it
here
actually.
within
Now
the
that I think of it,
walls.
yeah. So he goes over to the
Gives a
corner
bit
then.
of protection from the wind and stuff.
Yeah. So he goes over to the corner and like looks through some rags and clothing and stuff, and then he pulls out something and he brings over something, and he says, "This is you can't have this. I'm just showing it to you. Arn gave this to me," and he holds up this blue, sort of a clear blue faceted crystal, is what it looks like. And he says, "This is the thing that was on the bottom of the sword that Arn gave to the raiders. And, well, when they hit him on the head with the thing, the crystal broke off, and before the leader threw the sword away. And Arn, before he left here, gave this to me. He said, 'You should keep this. I don't need another reason to remember how I let down my family.' And then he turned and he left, and I never saw him again." So...
May I? And she holds out her hand.
And he kind of like somewhat reluctantly puts it in your hand.
Yeah, she takes it and just turns it around and holds it into the light to get a better look at it. So what exactly am I looking at?
So it definitely looks like a crystal that at some point was socketed, probably into if you had to guess, the hilt or the pommel of a sword, because you can see that the bottom of it, which is chipped and broken, would have been made somewhat flat. So this was probably designed originally to be placed onto, as I say, the hilt of a sword or something like that. And it does look very old, looks probably reasonably valuable. But if it's definitely very rare to see something like this, because obviously the part that's not broken has been carefully sort of shaped and cut, which takes incredible skill at this time. So if it's true that this was part of a family heirloom, part of a family weapon, then it would have been worth quite a bit of money and quite a bit of, obviously, historical value. It doesn't seem to have any obvious, like, glowing of its own light or circling around your head magically or something. But it is not something... You find it hard to believe that anyone would willingly give something like this up.
Is it all right if I show this to my friends, too?
Okay, but only for a minute, and then I need it back.
Of course you're gonna get it back. Go, let's go show it to them.
Okay. So so when you go over and show it to Rick Mod and the rest of them, they sort of look at it. Rick Mod suddenly serious as she kind of gazes into it. Ibn Ghalib sort of chuckles and says, "I see. Apparently the need for adornment is not unique. All of us need something to make things beautiful, I suppose." And
wait, Faithful just looks down at like her giant tortoiseshell brooches with like the strings of pearls around the...
Exactly, and he sort of nods and winks. And Ibn Mundir says, "It does not surprise me, and it may explain what I've been reading. I have some information for you, Genevieve."
I would hear it. Here, you can put this back, I suppose, and she hands the gem back to the boy.
And he says, "All right, thanks, Genevieve." And like for the first time, sort of gives you a slight smile, and then sort of, like it's one of those like clearly he's not used to smiling much, so it's a bit of a struggle, but he does so, and then he goes back over to the pile of clothing. And yeah,
like I'm assuming it's late already, right? Or is this the next day?
This is the next day. Yeah, because you had to stay over the next day. It's about midday.
You let me know when I need to sign off a ration, right?
That would be now, actually. Thank you for the reminder. Yes. So,
Assuming that we keep track of those, but you need to let me know when I need to write those off.
Okay, so Ibn Mundir says we should probably, because the blind monk currently is napping, and Ibn Mundir says it might be better if we do this outside the house. I would not want to frighten the boy.
Let's go for a walk then.
So you walk outside, and he says he has a couple of books with him, and he says, I am troubled by what I've read here. These texts deal with the subject of many things, but one of them in particular is what the old monk has been working on, perhaps his life's work. It is about the Dreg, this creature of undeath. It tells that a Dreg may rise to torment a person or people who have wronged them, and the manner of their death may hold the key to why the person could not rest in death. A Dreg, though, is not brought down by normal weapons. Not even fire will consume the hatred that rests, the uncertainty within the Dreg's soul.
Are we gonna need some kind of special magic amulet that's like hidden somewhere again, or what's happening here?
He says, I wish it were that easy, but no.
Oh.
Sometimes to defeat a Dreg, one must understand the person who became the Dreg. Their strengths, their weaknesses, their loves, their hates. If you understand it, then you can craft a weapon capable of defeating the monster and providing peace to the tormented spirit within. A Dreg, they say, may have treasured away a sliver of their human existence, a continuing bond with one they loved most dearly in life. If it is brought out at the right moment, the sliver may make them more vulnerable. And, most importantly, the truth is a powerful weapon against monsters, mystical and human alike. But, Genovifa, Dregs do not rise at random. They only rise when some great evil has been done, an evil with which the person who did it has been forced to grapple and cannot. Before the person has been able to process, to learn who they were, to understand what they could be again. If they die before that understanding has reached them, then, in the greatest circumstances, a Dreg may be created. And he kind of glances over to Rickmod, who chuckles, and she says, I wonder, who do we know who had a great secret they wished to preserve? And kind of looks at you with her eyes wide, Genovifa. And,
So...
yeah.
The Drake might be Arn himself?
And Ibn Mundir sort of closes the book and looks at you, and Ibn Ghalib looks horrified and says, but that is awful if that is true. How can it be? And Ibn Mundir shrugs and he says, I don't know, but I can think of nothing else that so perfectly fits the pattern. He came to this place. He went to the Isle of Home. He fought the troll. He lied about it. And then he gives away this weapon, this heirloom of his house, and it does not even do what he had hoped. It is thrown away. The crystal here, thrown to the ground as if it were garbage. And he says, I cannot say for certain. But if it is, the Dreg is Arn, then the only way that he can be defeated is to find something that encompasses his strengths and weaknesses. And at this point, now I should have asked this before, Hilda was not there yet because Hilda was out. But at this point, Hilda does come up and from elsewhere and says, I hope that we're almost done with this place. We can actually do something meaningful. And Mundir sort of looks at you, and Rickmod and Ibn Ghalib look at you also as sort of like a, so...
Why don't we sit down? What were you
More
up to
sitting,
then?
nor less doing? Fine.
No. What were you doing?
I was running the perimeter. They have no security in this place at all. If we were to work for the next week, I might be able to get something to replace that break in the ramparts, but there's nothing here to protect anyway, I suppose. Why?
Well, I mean, well, so, um, with like the research and like this book and some other info we acquired, we might have a lead on where Arnon is.
You do?
That's
Where?
the good
Where?
news.
Where is he?
Or rather not where, but rather what he is.
What do you mean, what he is? Is he dead?
So you
Did you find out?
Well, he's... And she, like, looks at even Mundir like,
It's the awkward Thanksgiving conversation.
He's not dead?
And she blinks, clearly has no idea what you're talking about.
So the whole thing with the drake that's supposed to be terrorizing Herrogate? Right?
Yes. Thorfinn said it was superstition, but yes.
Well, there is a really good and very high probability that one might be Arn, and she's like instinctively leaning back.
So for a moment, Hilda just sort of stares at you and then says, "What? What? It's ridiculous. Is this what you've been wasting your time on?" And she like glares at Ibn Mundir. You've been reading that old fool's books, and now you think that Arn became a... That's ridiculous. And sort of her voice, her voice is very much like, ridiculous. You know, like, and...
Not so loud.
You're out of your mind. Arn wouldn't become a drake. Even if he was killed.
So, the book says that drakes become a thing when somebody dies with a lot of regret.
But that's half the people of Herrogate.
As much as Arn?
So she kind of like opens her mouth and then is like, and she stands up and she kind of looks out.
Like, listen, we don't know this for certain, right? But it's a lead, it's something, it's probable, it's possible, and we need to keep that in mind, that it might well be the case. But this might not, as we originally thought, like somebody wanting revenge on him, but rather he himself.
How is it possible? He couldn't have. I thought he might have been dead, but I didn't. And she kind of like, now, she just sort of like stands kind of, you know, as she always does, stern, arms folded, looking away. And then she kind of looks back and she says, what if he is? What do we do?
We are gonna try to save him, I suppose. Make it so that he can rest again.
You mean you're going to destroy him?
I mean, what else could we do?
We could find more than the stolen wisdom of a few books from an old fool and his half-insane child. Maybe that.
Well, we are not at that point yet. For now, we just need to gather more information, but I think this is just something we need to keep in mind, that this might be a very real possibility here. That he is the drake and that we might have to end him.
Here's where I ask a question. Does Rickmod have the learned gift?
I don't think so. Let me double check. No, she has Engage, Rescue the Hero, Ravenmind, and Seer.
Give me Ravenmind and Seer again. Remind me.
I don't have them
I can.
down,
That's right,
I think.
can find it.
And I would need to find the PDF in my files now.
All right,
first.
it's fine. It's fine. I'll just find a switch
Well,
book.
seer means that she's not blind, I think.
Yeah,
She
yes.
can see, in fact.
Clearly, I mean, there are some blind seers in.
Shh. But how can they see if they are blind, Gregory?
Listen, you take it
You
up
make
with the
no sense.
You take it up with the ancient Greeks, okay?
Well, what do the ancient Greeks know?
Tiresias, ancient seer and blind. Okay, advantage on intelligence checks and saving throws is Raven Mind, and then Seer.
Oh no, it just means that she's very hot. Seers things.
You know. No. And it's also just like replacing the D20 with a roll that they make. Anyway. So Rickmod probably Rickmod does say, I think it's fair to say, well, you should talk then at least to the monk before leaving. He knows many things from this place. And if what you say is true, she says, nodding towards Ibn Mundir, then he might know something about what must be done. And then she says to Hilda, and as for you, you can believe or not believe what you wish, but not believing does not change reality, any more than wishing that a wave would not hit you keeps it from happening. Reality is what it is. Your only question is how you will act when reality has confronted you. And Hilda sort of snarls and then sort of turns and walks off and says, if we are leaving this place, let's do it quickly. And I think I know where we should go.
What time of day is it now?
So now it would probably be early afternoon, I would say.
Okay.
Dark and rainy out.
Yeah, also like the whole thing that we might be followed, so it's better to leave sooner than later.
Mm-hmm.
Even with what we did to the ship. But definitely, like during the time that we spent here, Guido Fefer would have had sit down with the boy and taught him how to mend as much as she can teach him in that short time. Better than nothing, basically, and like left him like some supplies, like some would have like left her sewing kit actually. Left him her sewing kit.
Okay.
Pronouns difficult. And like some rags for patches and stuff.
Okay.
And also, like, while they were there, she would have been cooking for everybody. So, like, if you want me to be marking up some extra rations for that, I will do that.
Just one extra,
because
probably
I'm assuming they don't have a lot of food here. But, like, they will probably also done a bit of foraging.
Yes, that's right.
More nettles, for example.
That's
I don't know what else there is to get. Fishing, probably.
Yes, although you'd have to figure out a way, because it's up on a cliff a good way, you'd need to figure out how to, like... 50-foot line and like 100-foot line, whatever, you know, it'd be difficult. But you could definitely bring, I think if you take a little bit of time.
Wait, you said they have rabbits here?
They do.
Or bunnies.
They have snares.
Well, probably would have set some, probably would have like set up some more snares when they realized that they would be staying here.
Okay.
See if they could catch anything.
Yep, that works.
Yeah.
So you're able to do that, and just before you leave, the monk tells you a couple of things. So again, the question. Actually, I shouldn't say that. It depends on what you tell the monk. What do you tell the monk before leaving? Like, how much of what has been discovered in the books and all that, like how much of that do you describe?
Basically everything if the opportunity is there.
Okay.
Meaning that the boy wouldn't be around to overhear it, because I think the monks should decide on whether or not the boy should know.
Okay.
Considering that he is effectively his guardian.
Right. So you tell all of the monk that, and the monk sort of nods.
All the monk that.
Tell the monk that. And the monk nods and says, I had been afraid that this might be the case. I didn't know well the anger that drove Arn, but I could hear for myself, as if I had been there, the regret in his voice when the boy told me of it. He tried his best for us, but he was haunted by a failure long before the one that we found here. I will always be grateful to him, even if that thing, whatever it was, weighed upon him. The only thing I can say for sure is what you read is true. The only thing that defeats a drake is something marrying its past with its present, and something which has his strengths and weaknesses associated with it. A weapon crafted from fragments of weapons that played pivotal roles in his attempt to be a hero or his shame at his failure. You'll need to fashion that weapon. And he kind of, at this point, sort of like tilts his head. Is Hilda here? And she, of course, is not at the moment.
I can go fetch her.
It depends on whether you think she'll want to know.
I think she needs to know.
And he
She
nods
definitely
and waits.
doesn't want to know, but she needs to know.
Okay. No, he nods and waits, and so if you go and fetch her, she's not far off. And she comes, although, silently and, clearly angrily.
Yeah, I'm assuming she was busy with packing up.
Pretty much. And when you bring her back, the monk says, if you, who knew him best, are with these during the final confrontation, you may provide a benefit to them. Anything that reminds him of his good and bad moments, the moments he wishes he could remember, the moments he wishes he could forget, that will be all to the good. And there's sort of a long pause, and Hilda sort of, like sets her jaw, and you can see like her mouth twitching. And she says, are we ready to go?
I want to talk to the boy again.
Okay.
So, yeah, she would go find the boy.
Okay.
And be like, so that shiny gem you showed me earlier, I think it's a really nice gem, and I wanted to offer you a trade if you are up for it.
Like what?
So, you give me the gem, and I will give you this entire jar of honey in return.
And he sort of looks at the honey. The thing is, though, the honey, eventually it's going to be gone, and this won't be, as he says, sort of pointing at the spot where he put the crystal in the corner. I'll always remember it.
Have you licked the gem?
What?
Have you tried licking the gem?
No. Why would I do that?
Just do it.
And he sort of like reaches in and then tries to lick the gem. Licks the wrong side. His tongue is cut off. Ah, no, just kidding. Doesn't do that. But he does try to lick it, yeah. He says,
what does it taste like?
Nothing. It's just...
Okay, and then she gets out the wooden spoon again and dips it in the honey and holds it out to him. Now lick this.
Narrows his eyes and licks it. Okay, make a persuasion check.
Better.
I'll give this to you at +2.
Hey!
Not advantage, though.
Always.
Unless you want to,
always
appeal the
bribe
chat.
the children with sweets. Genevieve is a horrible person.
I'll give you candy. You give me this prized possession.
This is definitely a trade up. And she did earlier call it liquid gold, right?
She did, yes. Went out of her way to call it that.
That was not actually planned for. That this might have. What did you say? Persuasion.
Persuasion +2.
So it really needs this gem. I'm assuming because of the whole needing stuff from his past thing. So this would be a great opportunity for inspiration. If anybody got one.
If anyone has an inspiration that they would like to send in the direction, let me see if I have anyone who does. Hold on a second. Let's see. Classic Aura, Echo, Alpha. Effect Life has a couple. Fantasy Forge, that's almost up actually. Hillness, although I think Hillness may have left again. I'm not going to help you. Imaginary Expo, it's like, why would anyone want to inspire bribing children? And then Trippin says, I'm not going to help you swindle a kid.
Swindling the kid?
Hi, Jactress.
It's for the greater good.
I like chats like, how dare you take away this how dare you bribe them with candy? Like you're in a van, like some weird, you know.
Fine, you stupid moral people with your stupid morals. I'll do it without the advantage.
Oh, that's so funny.
Horrible. God damn it. +2 you said, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's an 18, my guy. And you're completely out of focus.
Yes, that's why, because I realized the lines of morality become blurred. For the greater good. So you just so Genevieve just snatches it out of his hand and then laughs, running away.
She
No,
would
just
like
kidding.
hold her hand open, basically. Like no, she would like have the jar, just like assuming that he's gonna grab the jar from her if he wants to trade.
That's so great. So yes, you do trade with him. He gives you with some reluctance his prized
imaginary
crystal.
exponent. Listen, this is honey. It is both sweet and shiny. Okay? This is like a double whammy, okay? So like don't you come with me here.
Oh man, that was the best. I'm not gonna help you swindle a kid. Like the chorus, like the people watching are like, you're bad and you should feel bad. Okay.
Well, this is not Greece.
Anyway,
don't have choruses here.
you do get the crystal.
Hey.
And before you head off to leave the sanctuary, the monk thanks you and says, you should know that before confronting the Drake, you should understand why they became a Drake in death. I had a vision last night. It was a vision of a campsite on the road to Herrogate. There I saw Arn laying in the dirt, in a pool of blood, as a man with a rich fur cloak wept at the bloody weapon in his own hand. I don't know what that means. I did not recognize the man. But I have learned that when such visions come, they come for a reason. You should think on this as you follow your investigation, and you should be careful.
Thank you. Thank you very much for all your help.
And the monk...
And she actually leaves him like a few, like, she would not have like a great collection of spices, but, you know, would have like a bit of, like a satchel of salt that you can pinch some off of. And like, maybe, I don't know, what else would they have? I don't know, English name for medieval spices. Oh, that they would have had here. Beowulf, what is that? Wild garlic, I think?
Is
like
this,
various
is this our...
herbs and stuff.
I was going to say, is this our sachet? We had this...
oh god, this thing! Oh my god!
a pomander? A pomander.
No, she's like not gonna leave her entire spice supply, but like, you know, just a little bit.
Okay.
And probably like leave some of the, like, share some of the like more hard to come by resources that she might have.
Yes.
Like maybe like a little bag of flour, for example. Those kind of things. So I guess, what would that be, like 2 rations worth, maybe?
I would say. How many do we have left, by the way?
I have then 6 rations left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
Tom, it's an interesting question. Why does your wisdom grow when you become blind? Part of it may be that the visual world can deceive. If you are left alone to contemplate without the what might be seen as the distraction of the visual, perhaps
You don't have to see all this bullshit anymore.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I mean,
You
honestly,
can't read the news anymore. That's why.
I think about all the good things in the world in my life that I do want to see, and I would not want to therefore lose my vision to gain the wisdom, but I understand a little bit about why it could happen. And as you sort of make your way from the sanctuary...
Oh, she would give the boy a hug and stuff.
Yeah, he returns it too. And as you leave the sanctuary behind...
Offer a hug. She wouldn't just ask
No,
he
gives it back, although it's an awkward one. But he does do it. And as you sort of walk away from the monastery, you can see on the hillside by that one stone building the monk standing there with his arm around the boy, who kind of waves at you as the wind and rain whip around them. I wanted to note for chat that one of the things I like about how we've been doing this is if I zoom out for a moment, that's too far. Let me get rid of the followers page for a second. You can see, let me see if I can get both of them. Yeah. If you look at the top left up here, so here, right? You can see that we have the two Frida the Weaver and the Scope up in the Isle of Home. Now down here we have the blind monk and the nameless boy. Hilda with obviously Genevieve. And then I should put Thorfinn over by Herrogate as well. Like, as the adventure plays through, I like the fact that there are these different people that are reminders of what you met when you were there. You know what I mean? Which I think is kind of cool. Okay.
So, as far as items go that I assume are part of like this whole thing of marrying his past, I now have the broken axe head and the gem, correct? Or do I have anything else?
That is correct. The broken axe head and the gem are the two things you have at the moment. Yes. This is the axe blade that I just put on stream. And
lots of broken things.
Yeah, well, a little bit some broken people, frankly.
I
that we've
need
got
my
here.
text markers. Where are they? We love our color-coded notes.
Oh, those are
our
important.
Beautiful pastel-colored text markers.
Yep, I should have brought this on here before. I'm just gonna put Thorfinn up at.
Hank.
I'm gonna put Thorfinn up here
so that I can keep track of the
by
quest items. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. All right, now let me bring this over. Chat, we're not quite winding down yet. We will in a moment, but not quite yet.
So, the vision, where the guy mentioned like a furred cloak. You said like a person wearing like fur.
Yes.
Stuff. Yes. I don't remember the exact wording. Was that the dad or was it Thorfinn? Or was the dad Thorfinn?
The dad is Thorfinn, but there's no way to know. I mean, because the monk did not recognize him at all. So
no, but like that's like
that's what you're thinking.
That's me being genre savvy, being like, hey, you wouldn't have mentioned earlier in the adventure that Thorfinn was wearing a fur cloak thing with like furs on his shoulders. If that wouldn't have been important, and now bring up, oh hey, here's a vision about a guy who has incredibly strong connections and is really sad about his kid dying, blah blah blah. It's
possibly.
Like,
it is
that's
possible.
What we call a smoking gun.
It would be as grim as it gets, but it's possible, for sure. When you set out, the Hilda, who has been, if it's possible for someone to be even more grim. And I guess I should ask too, since you're now going overland.
Wait, did I say that?
Well, because you said, you correct me if I'm wrong. You don't have to do this, of course. But my understanding was that you said you were going to head. Well, actually, I don't know. I guess the question was whether you were going to head in the direction, because Hilda had the idea of going to this campsite after you said the thing. So that was the other lead that you had.
Is roughly the campsite? Can you mark that on the map?
Yes, I can.
Where we expect that to be?
It should be. It's on the road to Herrogate, and it's about here-ish.
And I'm assuming the entire coastline here is very ragged with like rocks and stuff.
You
It'd
got
be
it.
annoying
You'd have to
go to shore.
You could have them right. So you could either go down, tell the crew to like, I don't know, meet you at Herrogate or something, or but yeah, going along and being like sort of like tracing you and every few minutes going over and being like, you still down there? Like that's not that's not really an option. Very much.
In that case.
Oh, we got Raiders from Wenchkin. Thank you, Wenchkin.
Ooh.
You're going to catch the end of our little session here today. Thank you, Wenchkin.
Not more Raiders. You're going to scare the
That's
boy
true.
again.
Exactly. The boy's like, I knew it. You said you were nice, and then they came.
Oh, God.
Thank you so much, Wenchkin. I appreciate it.
It just dealt with Raiders who had burnt down this monastery.
Yes, different kind of Raiders. These are the much better Raiders. Good to see you, Wenchkin. Thanks for the raid, man. I appreciate it.
The boy doesn't know that. He just thinks Raiders are Raiders.
Right. Which,
So, oh God, now I completely lost where I was going with this.
So the question is, what do you want to do with this?
How long do we expect the walk to the campsite to be?
A few hours. You would assume probably, because it's about, like you leave about mid-afternoon. You'd probably get to the campsite probably a little bit before. It would be before dusk. You'd maybe have like a half hour of light left, something like that.
Okay.
Assuming you don't run into anything on the way.
No, I guess in that case it would be smart to set camp ourselves a bit earlier and then go check out the campsite in the morning.
Up to you.
So that we don't have to work against the sundown, because we also need light to set up camp, because setting up your camp in the dark is fucking garbage.
That's true.
We don't want that.
That's true, unless you wanted to do the camp at the campsite is possible.
Yeah, but we might disturb any tracks or whatever.
That's true. Yep.
So, yeah, I guess we are gonna send the crew with the ship to, meet us in Herrogate.
Okay. And are you sending Guy with the crew, or are you bringing Guy with you?
No, like I'm taking all my companions with me.
Okay.
Unless they themselves specifically say they don't want to come along.
No, you don't get that impression.
Want to say.
Yeah.
So I guess what we are then doing is, we set them on their way. And get on the road. And also, since we are planning to not reach the campsite tonight, today, whatever, we would take our time on the way to do a bit of foraging and hunting.
Okay. To
replenish our supplies a bit.
Let me have you do a nature check for me, please. Let's see how successful that is. Or survival, survival specifically.
Yeah.
Not nature, survival. Which I think is wisdom.
Also, wait, what does this do again? Oh no, that's. Do I have like? Do my companions know anything about foraging? I don't think they do. No, they don't. Okay, survival. Oh no, this is.
Yeah, not easy to find. Yeah, not really. It's
no fresh venison tonight.
That's right. There were just all these things, and like all just like you do not find anything other than a lot of you find some patches of damp moss basically, but that's as much as you get. Delicious, yeah.
We find some old boar tracks that are too old to be.
That's
like,
it.
God damn it! We came here yesterday.
That's exactly right, and there's sort of a.
Oh God, it's springtime too.
Yep.
Oh no.
Yep.
Wait, you don't have boars in the U.S., do you? Wild boars?
Right? No, correct. We don't really have wild boars.
Okay, so like the one dangerous animal we have in Europe
is the wild boar.
It's the wild boar, in springtime specifically.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's like the one thing you need to look out for when you go in the wilderness, forest, whatever, where any wild boars might live, because they have their babies in spring, and the mothers become super aggressive.
Oh.
And those things are huge. And will kill you.
Yeah, no, for sure. I've seen.
Well, I mean, I don't know about boars killing humans that much, but like they might. Like mainly, people with dogs need to look out, because the dogs might set them up, and then they might kill your dog. So that's not fun. But yeah, boars, not fun.
Be careful of wild boars, chat. Or as Duran Duran said, "Wild boars, wild boars." Okay, no, they didn't. They didn't say that. It's a different song.
No. Right. So no fresh pork.
No fresh
Wild
bacon,
pork?
unfortunately. So no,
Is it still called pork if
Mhm.
it's wild boar? Okay.
I would assume.
Yeah.
I don't actually
Yeah.
know,
I
but I would
don't know
assume.
your weird food names.
I mean,
In
we
German, we
you know
don't have
it would
extra
be
words for
pork
that.
or from a pig or ham or
But that's ham is like a part of a pig.
a part of a
specifically.
pig. Yeah. I don't know if the same thing is like a ham part of a boar. You have
Um,
boars here in Australia, right? But the boars in Australia, Winchkin, I assume, are 15 feet tall, right? Because everything in Australia is
and
like
venomous
yeah,
and poisonous.
and venomous and poisonous, right? And they shoot laser beams out of their eyes, right? Like that's how this works. Because everything in Australia, I don't understand how anyone is still alive in Australia. Like clearly everybody is who's here talking and stuff, but I don't get it. I don't use
Who
your
says
bicycle.
everybody is alive? These are just the people who survived.
That's true, and also Australia is also coming to us from tomorrow. So like in the future, we may be speaking to people who are already dead. They're cute and cuddly and just want snuggles. I don't believe you.
course.
That's exactly what a boar would say. All right, the boar has also become self-aware. Okay, so you set up camp, and it is a dreary and cold night, but nothing disturbs you. And when you awake the next morning, feeling a little sore and stiff and so on, probably eat another ration. Yeah, you're a little bored. Yeah.
Okay, so more rations to mark off.
One more ration I would mark off there because of the next day.
Okie dokie.
Hilda, who's grown sort of increasingly not agitated, but sort of kind of foul mooded, if that's a term, sort of sets off. And if you're going to follow her to bring you the rest of the way, if you leave now, the campfire you get to just about midday. You think is what would happen, Genevieve.
Okay.
So, assuming that you do that, she brings you. You follow her down the road.
Wait, where are we now on the road?
So you set up camp. You said like slightly before it. So I would have assumed that was something like maybe here, so that you'd have maybe like an hour or two to get to the camp that would be about here. Would have been my guess. But you correct me if I'm wrong. Does that sound right?
No, that's fine.
Okay. All right. And I'm going to put actually. It's not the Silent Sanctuary.
No.
It is. No. Control Z. Okay, that's what I wanted to do.
The bandit camp. We are fighting Tazok now. Baldur's Gate reference. Pardon me.
There we
Can
go.
never resist.
Does that seem about right?
The Silent Sanctuary still says that for me. Campsite, home of boars.
Just kidding. It is a campsite. It's a campsite, but it's not the home of boars. Okay. So when you go over the rise, and Hilda's up here too, you see something which is another picture that I'm going to show on the stream, the last one of the day. And
wait, I'm confused about something.
Mm-hmm.
So why is Thorfinn in Herrogate? Didn't we last see him in Xanten?
Say that again. Where'd you last see him?
In Xanten.
No, you saw him in Herrogate. Herrogate is the town that he would have been, that he's the, leader of, the ostensible leader of.
Wait, then who did we talk to in Xanten?
You calling this Sunton? What am I? You mean home?
Nowhere, like when we got back from the last adventure. And got like our new quest, our new adventure.
Oh, yeah, there was another merchant who had heard about issues relating to Herrogate and trade, but that wasn't Thorfinn.
That wasn't Thorfinn.
No, that wasn't Thorfinn. No. You met Thorfinn when you got to Herrogate, and Thorfinn was the one who was like, "I've got it under control. Why are you bothering me?" That guy.
Gotcha. Yeah, I thought the entire time that was the same guy. So when you said he's in Herrogate, wait a second.
Yeah, no, Thorfinn's the same guy. I was so confused. I'm like, Sunday, what do you mean? And I was like, oh, no. Yeah, no. In Herrogate, it was Thorfinn. The other guy just wants to know why the trade was broken down.
I see.
And so.
I see. No personal, just.
No, just like, why don't I have my money, basically, is basically it.
Oh, is that why Hunsilt is sleeping with the fishes? Because she didn't have the money.
Because she didn't have the money to handle it. Yeah, exactly. All right, this is what you see. And it is, as you can see,
here.
you can see that it is this unassuming kind of patch of kind of dryish ground, relatively speaking, although it's obviously damp because of the rain. But it's along the road to Herrogate, and there are open fields on one side, and there's a thickly wooded hill on the other. And as you arrive at the campsite, you can see that it's been recently used. There is a fire pit ringed with blackened stones. And you do smell a slight tinge of smoke on the air, Genevieve, as if it's been used recently. The fields around there appear to be fallow, but you can see behind it, you see at the back of that picture, there's just a little bit of this, like a roof that you can see just over the hill.
Picture?
Yeah, the one that I put on stream.
I was looking at Roll20. Pardon me.
Yeah, sorry,
yes,
this
I
one.
see.
So that one in the background looks to be a small roof for a small house. Its roof is bowed and it looks like the worse for wear, like it's definitely worn down. But it looks like the campsite itself has been used relatively recently. And as you come up to it and sort of see this, Hilda you hear her kind of sort of draw a breath and then sort of stumble forward. And for the first time that you've seen her, fall forward onto her knees, and she drops her spear, and she pushes her hands into the dirt, and she weeps. And everyone is just staring at her.
Yeah.
And she says, this is where I saw Arn last. I haven't wanted to come back here. If I hadn't confessed what I felt that night, maybe he'd still be with us. This is my fault. I made him do this. He wanted to become a hero because of me. And that's where we're going to bring our session to a close.
Of course.
So,
she would have like as soon as she would have fallen down, FIFA would have knelt beside her and put her hand on her back and go there.
I assumed. So at the end of our last session, there was this whole business about the scope and revealing his truth. After this session, there's a whole that truth. There's more to it. So not only did Arn live a lie, but maybe Arn is maybe one of the people involved, and maybe there's a reason. And
he's not alive, and he's not dead.
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of it's not the worst possible scenario. Well, it sounds actually kind of like the worst possible scenario. We will see. But I really, as I say, I was thinking about it, just looking at all of the different tokens and all the people that Genevieve has met in this adventure. And I just really love the different sections, looking at it and being like, that was where that part happened and that part. So super cool. And you did a wonderful job as always, Tari.
Thank you.
How did you feel about today? And where will the lovely folks find you next?
Oh, this was a lot of fun. I got to eat a bunch of leaves from my garden live on stream.
Right. All for roleplay. It was all for the
role
performance.
Also because I like eating leaves, I guess. And after the stream, I'm gonna have a wonderful cup of mint tea, fresh mint tea with honey, and nobody can stop me.
Nope.
And I got to bribe children. Which is fun.
Won't help you swindle a child.
And chat disapproved for some reason.
Yep. Chat will remember this.
Moment where we are all happy and glad that there are no strict alignment systems anymore in D&D.
Mm-hmm.
Because this would have probably caused one of those critical alignment shifts, I think. Though I guess FIFA is... What would she be like? Neutral good, chaotic good?
Oh, neutral good.
Somewhere around those parts.
I don't know. And honestly, I mean, jokes aside, I do agree that there is sort of a greater good thing you're trying to think about here. So it's not, it isn't literally just give me that kid and then slapping him and taking his stuff. I I don't actually think it's like that.
She's
But
been a fair trade.
yeah, I mean, it was the fact that you were like, I'm bribing a child with sweets that I think made people go,
No, it was not a bribe. It was a trade. That's different.
I'm trading him for sweets. Oh man. Yeah, get them while they're young. See, exactly, Tom. That was exactly what we were talking about.
Like, also, when is he next time gonna eat anything sweet? Like, probably, like, maybe he's gonna have some wild strawberries in summer. Maybe. Like, that's probably the one sweet thing he gets, like raspberries or whatever. But,
Yeah, you were doing him a favor. Give him this, like, family heirloom treasured thing, and in exchange, I'll give you this honey that'll be gone in 3 days. So,
Also, assuming that this thing just doesn't disintegrate when we deal with Arn, because, like, for reasons, or we need to bury him with it or whatever, like, she would actually go back and bring the gem back.
Yeah, here's your gem back. And then be like, all right, now give me the honey. Just vomit it back up. Give me the honey. Get the trade back.
No, she wouldn't.
No, I really.
I was like planning to give him the jar of honey anyway. And then you mentioned like the whole thing was like, oh, we need to like stuff.
Yeah.
His pass, I was like, oh, we need the gem.
I have to say though,
right?
as like a TV show though, can you imagine what a great montage that is of like you washing his hair and then like cutting back to Ibn Mundir, like like reading the book over the candlelight and just like oh man, it's the best. Like in the blind monk and the blind monk like slumbering in the corner, like oh man. So cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, not just like slumbering in the corner, like just like exchanging jabs with Rick Mod.
With Rick Mod, that's true.
Because like they're like both like sassy old people, right?
Yep,
First of all, but also like both religious type of people, but complete opposite end of the spectrum. So,
yeah, I would say.
I think they would have a lot of fun things to talk about.
Yep.
So.
Yep. No, it was great to watch. Where will the fine folks find you next?
So for this month, I think I'm already done, even though we're only halfway through. Right?
That's true. Because we have I'm doing a D&D with viewers next week, and then we're doing the Patreon Field Game of the Month after that. But then in December, we'll be back with at least one Beowulf and with more Fighting Fantasy Gamebook as we wrap up Skylord.
Are we not having another November next month? Then another November?
Jesus, I hope not. I think one November is plenty this time, thanks.
Oh yeah, I suppose, yeah. I'm just like thinking, wow, the year is almost over again.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I know. It is wild how fast this all went, but
I guess in next month you guys will find me here for more of this. And then also for the next session of Skylord, which was probably gonna be the final session.
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So we need to talk about which book we're doing next then.
Right.
And besides that, people can find me on Tumblr and on Blue Sky and on Kara at TariToons, where I post my art when I make any. And I'm not currently busy binge gaming something and don't get to draw or can't get myself to draw anything. So, that's me.
That's good stuff, Tari. It was good work.
And check out my shop, please.
Yeah, we posted that already. That was !point TariToons has the Gumroad site up there.
Yes, my Gumroad shop, where you can get my art book, which looks something like this.
Which is
awesome. Hand printed and hand bound at home.
Yep.
Which contains the vast majority, almost all of the art that I have made on my time with the channel, including the art I made for this game so far, which is this.
So good.
So yeah, if you want a copy of that to support me, I would very much appreciate that. And there's only a limited amount of copies left, so get them while they're hot.
And it's very much worth it. I have one myself, and it was really, really cool. Really, like as I mentioned many times, like when you actually see it all assembled, you're like, geez, like we really did. We did a lot. Like there's been a lot of art over the years.
Yeah, actually, there's been a lot more because like 2 months ago. So I went through my old sketchbooks looking for something specific, and I found like way more drawings than I made for. I'm like, God damn it, I forgot to put these. I
Yeah,
forgot
like
that I made
so much
these.
cool stuff, but but it was. But no,
Yeah,
it's a great
so
book, and it's definitely worth your time, and you should support Tari regardless. So,
thank you.
but Tari, thank you so much. I will see you I'll talk to you before this, but I will see you in a couple of weeks. And yeah, I am looking forward to it. Chat, can we get some love for the amazing TariToons? Thank you, Tari, so
Hold on,
much.
need to do
And I will
this
see
one.
you in a. Say again, what's that?
Need to do this one. Korean heart.
Oh, the Korean heart. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Thanks, Tari. I will.
Okay,
I
thanks so
will
much for
speak
having
to you
me.
soon. Always a great pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Bye for
Au revoir.
now.
How do?
All right. And that actually, let me just drop this this thing here. Okay, we're not quite done, chat. Okay. So that is going to do it for us for that, but it is not going to do it for us overall for the stream, because we have something we have to do, chat, and that is we have to figure out what we are going to be playing. I thought this was zoomed out quite a bit. Let's do it like that. We have got to figure out what we are going to be playing in 2 weeks for the Patreon-fueled Chat Chosen Game of the Month. So give me just a second to pull up ArvBot. ArvBot Plus, the power of ArvBot compels you. Okay, there's that. Great. Wonderful. All right. So let's do this. And also, hi, Craigery, and those I have not said hello to yet that popped in while we were playing. Hope everyone is doing okay. All right, let's run that. That should pop us up there. Good. Tools. Polls. And there we go. All righty. Everything working like clockwork as usual. All right. So let me pop this up. All right, chat. So the question is, there we are. The question is, what game are we going to play for this month? Now, this is going to happen in 2 weeks, remember. So the question is, what game should Arv play? So this, again, is a game, the Chat Chosen, Patreon-fueled Chat Chosen Game of the Month. That'll be happening in 2 weeks. So the question is, what would you like it to be? Please nominate a game. I reserve the right, as always, to veto it if I've already played it, or if it is on my list of games that I'm going to be playing soon anyway, so you don't need to use a Chat Chosen game for that. Or if it's like a horror game that I don't want to play, I reserve the right to veto. But otherwise, I try not to do that. So what game would people like what game would people like me to play? 1 nomination per person, please. I can play anything on PC, pretty much, Steam or GOG. I can play most things. I could technically play an Intellivision 2 game. I could play Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Sega Genesis game, because I have a Retron. I could play any Nintendo Switch game. I could play technically a Wii U game, although I hope that I don't have to do that, because then I have to rig up my Wii U again. But so I could play that, and I could play anything on PS5. So basically, everything is available to you except for like Xbox 360 or Xbox One or whatever. But other than that, pretty much any other type of game I have access to be able to play. So let's see. No, because oh no, I'm sorry, Tom. I swear to God, there is going to be a point at some point when I return to it, but not for something like this, just because I already have played it. And so it's not like it's not really in the spirit of what the chosen game is for. The Patreon Field Chat Chosen Game of the Month is. So sadly, I must say no to that, even though that's not a negative on X-Wing. It's just sort of a, If you wanted to do other Star Wars related ones, I think I already played Knights of the Old Republic. No, I always get it mixed up. What is the MMO Knights of the Old Republic? One of them is Knights of the Old Republic. One is KOTOR. And then there was also the MMO that was the Old Republic. I can't. Why do I not remember this? Because I played both of them. I played Coder 1, I played Coder 2, and then I played whatever the Republic one that is the MMO one. I played that. So, do I like city builders? Yes, ish. You want to see me pew pew TIE fighters? Well, I mean, listen. You could also pick. You could pick one of them like. Trying to think. Wing Commander, or. Yeah, I'll come back to the yes ish in a minute, Jactress. Like Wing Commander. I don't think I've played that on stream. I don't think I've played Wing Commander 1 or 2 on stream. Or Privateer, or one of those things. Like like any of those kinds of things are possible. I don't think I played Elite Dangerous on stream. I have played No Man's Sky, but that's not as much about the sort of space combat thing. I played obviously Starfield on stream. So, in answer to your question, so I like city builders if the city builder is intuitive. I guess what I would say is I don't love games where I'm overwhelmed with choices. So, for example, last month we played Age of Wonders 4. Now, I liked Age of Wonders 4 in some ways. I liked the magic quality of it. I liked some of the fun aspects of it. But there was a point where I felt like there was so much stuff that I just became overwhelmed by all of it. Whereas Heroes of Might and Magic, I like because, especially Heroes of Might and Magic 2, although I like 3 and even 4 a little bit, because it feels like it's manageable to me. And so it's not like 65 million things. Like I saw this game called Bounty Train, which looked interesting to me, which was a little bit like FTL, but with trains, but it's not turn-based. So I have not played Skylines. Nope, I have not. Airborne Kingdom. That's cool. I have never heard of it, but I am happy to add that to the mix. So Airborne Kingdom, that's choice 1. When you do, I will definitely play it, TomTom. Skylines would crush you. I don't love the fact that right after Jagtress says Skylines would crush you, then Dragonspear says, I nominate City Skylines. That's not a good combination. Do you want me to be crushed? Skylines would crush you. Dragonspear is like, I nominate City Skylines 1. Perfect timing. I mean, I won't say no to it. I won't say no. No, that's cool. Jagged Alliance. Yep. Also happy to do that. Any other nominations? They have a tutorial. I know that Matt Chrono Wolf played a lot of City Skylines when he was streaming quite a bit. It's Jagged Alliance, I think 1, I believe. But I'm pretty agnostic about that. Like, it doesn't matter to me. I have played a bit of Jagged Alliance 1. Oh, gosh. Before I started streaming, I think. It was like 14, 15 years ago, probably. Is my webcam 4K? No, my webcam is 1080. It's not even 1080. It's not a webcam. It's a mirrorless camera. So the maximum resolution on this, it's basically limited by the capture card, which is my awesome freaking that I love Duo, and it is Live Gamer Duo. Right now it's 1920 by 1080. I don't know. I'd have to. It might mess it up if I did it some other way. You know what? It's going to screw it up for a second, but yeah, the maximum is 1920 by 1080, I think, for the Live Gamer Duo. So useful, though, because it allows me to basically capture using one card. I can capture my system using one, and then I capture the camera using the other. So thank you. Yes, it is a Canon EOS 200. I've actually used that for a long time. I love the Canon EOS 200. I'm so happy I did this. I wish it was a little, because I have it rigged up so that I bring webcams on the road with me, mostly because I don't want the camera to break and everything. But I use a dummy battery. and then I rig something in so that it's powered that way. And then basically what you see is just kind of the preview window, and it will run for, I mean, I've streamed for, during ArvCons with this, I've streamed for like 10 hours in a row and with zero issues. Like, just, it works perfectly. So, probably true. Yeah, I'm sure that is. You can see the, my slightly graying beard, he said with a laugh. Astroneer. I'm happy to add that, Jagtress. What is it though? I don't know that I know what it is. What is Astroneer? Also, I love the little bokeh effect. Yeah, I know. Very funny, Gladriel bot. I did that on purpose. But the this thing behind me, like I could even get a lens that would make that even more extreme, but I don't really need to. I think this is pretty cool. But it gives me like the actual like for real bokeh blur effect, which I really think is cool, without having to do the fake blur effect that you have to do if you don't have that. So it's cool. It's a crafting survival planet exploration game. That's fine. I'm happy to give that a shot. Sure. All right. Airborne Kingdoms, City Skylines 1, Jagged Alliance, Astroneer, and any one, I'm just going to say City Skylines. Any other nominations? Yeah, no, that's cool with me. Sounds good. Any other nominations to add? And then what we're going to do is we're going to hold a vote, and the top 3 vote getters will go on to the final vote. Oh, sorry, sorry, Imaginary. That's just that's just to be fair to everybody, that's all. Nothing personal. Ooh, no. System Shock 2 would be a hard no. That's System Shock 1 and 2 are great games, Tom, and they're great games not for me. Those are jump scared filled, like depressing gore, like no thanks. Again, it's nothing against System. Those are excellent games. It's just no thank you. Like I literally, jump scares are just not good for my health, like quite literally. So I hate jump scare things, and System Shock has got a lot of it. I know that even from watching a few people play it. That's the problem. So, yeah. That's all. Too much horror and also jump scares. I really dislike, I cannot describe in enough detail how much I hate jump scares. Like a lot. How about a Wii Sports game? The closest one that I have to that is I have the Ring Fit one, which is on Switch, but like that's not a game that doesn't count because I play that elsewhere, so I can't, it's not a game of the month type game. All right, going once. Oh, actually, Tom, if you have another guess, you already did Airborne Kingdom, right? Because I think Imaginary Exponent did. Oh, Imaginary Exponent did Airborne Kingdom. So Tom, you've still got you could throw one out there, but up to you. But I'm going to give you I can only give you like 1 minute because I do have to start getting ready here for my stream on GOG at the top of the hour. So going once. Going twice. Orcs Must Die. Now, the interesting thing about that is that I have played Styx, which was the stealth goblin game that was a spin-off of Orcs Must Die, actually. So I'd be happy to try that. I know that Orcs Must Die is a very different kind of game, but same universe, though. So, yeah, that's fine. All right, so here we go, chat. So these top 5, I'm going to open this up. So top 5, the top 3 vote getters, you can only vote for one. Top 3 vote getters are going to move on to the final round. So $ vote space 1 means you want to see me play Airborne Kingdom. Vote space 2 is City Skylines. Vote space 3 is Jagged Alliance. $ vote space 4 is Astroneer. $ vote space 5 is Orcs Must Die. So let us please get those votes in, and we will see what we are going to play. I'm happy with all of these choices. And I've had scenarios before. A number of these games I have played and then played on and continued to play. So just copy and paste my answer. Very funny. Cheating Las Vegas. Dragonspear is basically the poster child, like, is the target audience for the Game Shark. If any of you remember the old Game Shark that you could use it out of all the codes, like, Dragonspear is Cheaty McCheaty Pants. You gotta hustle for the cheddar. Yeah. Like, in the dictionary next to Game Shark is a picture of Dragonspear, like. All right. And if we get only 2, it's okay if we only get 2. If we get 3, then I'll put those up there. But if we only get 2, that's all right. Hacker McHackerpants. Yes, I apologize. We were joking about names for the expedition thing. And I was like, as long as you don't use Elfie McElfface. Ever since Bodie McBoatface, it's clear that there's no level of depravity to which the human race will not sink. All right, I'm going to last call this now. We have 2 votes for Airborne Kingdom, 2 votes for City Skylines. If you want to get one in, now is the time. Now is the time. No, now is the time. We got to vote in for Jagged Alliance. Okay. So, all right. Going once. Yeah, it's fair enough. Going twice. Do you remember the time when we fell in love? Do you remember the time? We had this interesting I was showing my son because he's been doing some dance classes, and I was showing him the 2024 in the village, Greenwich Village. They always do this Thriller dance. They reenact, the Thriller video with the dance. Because, like, that choreography, Quincy Jones, rest in peace, just passed away, who produced that album. That choreography for Michael Jackson's Thriller video is so good. And it was pretty funny. I was like, he was like, oh, that's what it looks like. It was pretty cool. Can you even run Jagged Alliance? It can be an adventure in and of itself. Yes, I can run it because there's a GOG version. So I should be able to get it through them if I have to. All right. So there we go. So if, Triffid, I don't know if you can do this or not, or if one of my mods could be so kind to, or Dragonspear, or one of the other lovely folks here. If you would not mind putting those 3 into the new straw poll, which is going to be the one that we get the votes for. Again, this is Airborne Kingdom. Oh, sorry, Tom, but you got your vote in. It's going to be one of the 3. Sorry about that, Tom, but it's okay. You're gonna get one of the. It's gonna be one of the 3 choices anyway. So Airborne Kingdom, City Skylines, and Jagged Alliance. 3 choices. How can you change your vote? Well, did you want to change it from what to what, Tom? Oh, you voted for City Skylines? All right, I'll do that here. It's easy enough. So Jagged Alliance, that still works out to 3 because we're going to get the top 3. To Jagged Alliance. Yeah, that's good. I got you. Yeah, but that's okay. City Skylines is not a story-driven game, but I don't mind that if it's just a sort of, Patreon fuel, Chet Chosen Game of the Month kind of one-shot deal, Hillness, So the 3 are Airborne Kingdom, City Skylines, and Jagged Alliance. Of course, if people want to play this, have me play it beyond just the one time, choosing a story-based one is usually a good idea for my particular tastes. But so yeah, Airborne Kingdom, City Skylines, and Jagged Alliance are the 3. So just going to make sure you have those, and then I will clear this, and then we'll stop. And then at the top of the hour, I want to remind everybody, at 4 p.m. Eastern, I will be over on GOG.com with Pen and Pixels playing some more Songs of Conquest. We're about to wrap up the 2nd campaign and move into the 3rd campaign. Very exciting. I am very much looking forward to seeing what the next sort of faction is going to be. And it means we're halfway through the game, basically. So, guerrilla style. And what should be our average chat to the game of November? Lovely. All right, that's the one, chat. That is the one that you should vote in. You should go right there And Triffitt's going to link that to the next game command. And I look forward to seeing how that all comes out in the end. Airborne Kingdom is apparently a calm indie city builder, is apparently what it is, which Imaginary Exponent played. Yeah. Very funny, Dragon. Thank you so much for doing that, Triffitt. Thank you. All right, so I got to get moving all. Thank you so much for that vote. We will be playing that in 2 weeks. Remember, final vote for this, so you have a week to vote on it. Next Tuesday will be when we close the vote, and that'll be the final vote then. Will be done, and then I will play whatever the chat has decided. I will play the week after during our usual Tuesday slot. But right now, I'm going to be heading over to GOGCom's Twitch channel for, Jagged Alliances, and I think Airborne Kingdom might be a little bit. So, like I say, for something like this, it's not too bad. Boring grill it is. So I'm going to be playing Songs of Conquest over on GOGCom at 4 p.m. Eastern. So I want to thank everyone for making this an awesome stream today. Thank you to all of the folks who made this great. If you like what you saw and heard, please, it's definitely not the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, nor I love you, Colonel Sanders. It definitely is not those things. But if you like what you saw and heard today, please follow the channel. Please check out our YouTube with !ArvTube. And thank you for those of you who are watching over on my YouTube channel. Please subscribe there. We are at a new record list of subscribers. So every new subscriber there, which is free to do, we get a new record set for YouTube. So please do subscribe over on my YouTube for all that content if you haven't already. Discord is !ArvCord, where you can hang out with the Arvanauts in between streams. Twitter, !ArvTweets. I'm not going to be on there that much longer, I don't think. Blue Sky, though, I am going to be on. I've gotten this huge surge of followers. So right now I'm closing in on 400 followers over on Blue Sky after a surge of like over 100 followers in the last 24 hours. So definitely join me over on Blue Sky, !ArvSky. Website, arvanelleron.com. And remember the Hearthglow podcast and also my Gen GM's podcast as well. Please support and subscribe to and spread the word about those shows as well. Again, arvanelleron.com for that. On the financial side, !Arv Shop. That's my merchandise area. You can get swag for the campaign and also support us on the channel. That right there is the Patreon, !Arvtreon. Would love to see that number go into the triple digits again, heading up to 100 and beyond, because it really is the one that is sort of the biggest one for me in terms of like the fewest fees and things like that. So please consider doing that. Also, subscribing to the channel would be lovely. Get those custom sub badges and emotes to use here, there, and everywhere across Twitch, as several of you did today. Thank you for the gift sub as well, from TomTom to Imaginary Exponent. And you can get inspirations there and with a Patreon as well, so do those things. On the publishing side, Icarus is my graphic novel from Athos Arts. Library is my Tales and Tomes, The Forbidden Library. That's my 5e adventure and sourcebook from Alligator Alley Entertainment. And Greyshade, which is my Greyshade IP, Greyshade, Renegade, and Heretic, the Grey Assassin trilogy. You can get them at that link from Athos Arts directly. You can pre-order the audiobook of Greyshade from our very own Trent Sparks, who you heard from today. And you can also, if you have not already done so, please consider pre-ordering the tabletop role-playing game of Greyshade, coming to you from Alligator Alley Entertainment and from the awesome and amazing Brandon O'Brien. That'll be out early next year, so please do that as well. Very excited for that IP. And last but certainly not least, if you've not already done so, please make sure to support our causes here. BLM, Black Lives Matter. We're getting there, right, Tom? Black Lives Matter, very important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. Greyshade. No, I said that. Help Now, which is the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention. Important to reach out to others when you need help and reach out to others when they need help as well. And Ukraine, UKRAINE, to help the people of Ukraine as they fight back against an illegal and illegitimate war with bravery and courage. And we send the message that we will do so for others in that situation in the future. Otherwise, I want to thank all of you lovely folks for making this awesome. Thanks to my wonderful mods, the best in the business, Dragon Spear, Emily the Invincible, Hillness, Triffity Mats. Thank you so much much to my Patreon supporters and subscribers. Thank you to Dragon, Emily, Hillness, Triffid, Craigery, Imaginary Exponent, and TomTom. Thanks again for the gift, TomTom. And thank you to my wonderful viewers. Thank you to Anime Wolf, to Antoine. Thank you to Arbiter. Thank you to Baka. Thank you to Big Boss. What's up, Big Boss? Thank you to Darksteel. Thank you to Doc the Trophy Hunter. To Echo Alpha X5, hanging out there in the background. Thank you to Gaia Shield. Thank you to Galadriel Bot, who's totally a bot. Thank you to Jagtress. Thank you to Madam. Thank you to Medicated Outrage. Thank you to Mr. Jonas. Thank you to Nonstop, Cubic, Saturnius, the Random Tickler. Thank you to TNS Mephiston. And thank you so much to Wenchkin today for the raid. I appreciate that as well. I will see you folks over on GOGCom's channel at 4 p.m. Eastern for more Pen and Pixels and Songs of Conquest. And then I will be back on my own channel right back here Thursday night for more of Dark Sun Shattered Lands. So very much excited for that. I had a good time with that over the weekend, and now looking forward to some more Dark Sun as we move along. That's it for me. Thanks, everyone. Much love, and I will see all of you wonderful folks over on GOG.com in a little over 10 minutes. Until then, everyone be good to each other, and bye for now. Then on the strand, with steeds and treasure, and armor their roomy and ring-dight ship was heavily laden. High its mast rose over Hrothgar's hoarded gems. A sword to the boat guard Beowulf gave, mounted with gold. On the mead bench, since he was better esteemed, that blade possessing heirloom old. Their ocean keel boarding, they drove through the deep, and Daneland left. A sea-cloth was set, a sail with ropes firm to the mast, the flood timbers moaned. Nor did wind over billows that wave swimmer blow across from her course. The craft sped on, foam-necked it floated forth o'er the waves, keel firm bound over briny currents, till they got them sight of the Geatish cliffs, home-known headlands. High the boat, stirred by winds, on the strand updrove. Helpful at haven the harbor guard stood, who long already for loved companions by the water had waited and watched afar.